A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
This is Walter O'Keefe, inviting you to listen in on the Nightline. Tonight, live the incredible life of ages yet to come, in a time that might be 1,000,000 years from now, on X-1. Now, an incredible story of the world beyond.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000, could be years on 1,000, maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, The Haunted Corpse by Frederick Pohl. But first, hear this.
Whenever you want things to be just right, be it here or there or day or night,
you make it Pabst, 'cause Pabst makes it perfect.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect. Just as we always have ever since 1844. So next time, you make it Pabst, because Pabst makes it perfect. America's Blue Ribbon beer from the Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes, Pabst makes it perfect.
Now, X-1 and the story of The Haunted Corpse.
We moved in at 0800. That's pretty good time, considering that Van Pelt turned up at the Pentagon on Thursday, and it took him till Monday morning to go in and see the general. By Tuesday, I had a task force of 135 men bivouacked around the old man's place. Corporal McCabe, my orderly, reported mission accomplished.
Well, Colonel, there's a whole company dug in down the road right yonder, and wings is all set up right here like you done ordered. We got a copy of them recon cars from the cavalry roaming like a passel of June bugs quartering a handkerchief.
McCabe isn't very bright, but he's loyal. Well, about 9 in the morning, the old man woke up. I suppose the firing at the auxiliary pistol range I set up got him out of bed.
Get out of here. Go on, you. Get those trucks off my lawn. Get out.
Dr. Horn.
Oh, what is this, the Boy Scout Jamboree? Are you the scoutmaster?
Dr. Horn, I am Lieutenant Colonel Windermere, sir. My orders are to establish a security cordon about your laboratories.
What?
Here you are, sir, my copy of your orders.
What the devil is this nonsense?
You will see they are signed by General Follinsby himself.
I know. That sniveling rat Van Pelt. He went to the Army, is that it? That mountainous, ungrateful tub of rancid lard went crawling into Washington and ratted to some tin soldier.
Sir, General Follinsby is not a tin soldier.
Is that it? Did Dick Van Pelt come to you with some cock and bull story? The chicken-livered, worm-eaten, misbegotten offspring
Dr.
of a...
Horn, the General asked me to give you his personal assurance that we will not interfere in your work here. But I'm sure you understand the importance of security.
Now, you listen to me. The Horn effect is my personal property, not the government's or the Army's. What is this, creeping socialism?
Sir, security. My orderly isn't cleared.
Oh, that don't make no never mind, Colonel. I don't rightly grasp what he's saying nohow.
McCabe, report to my tent.
Oh, just when it's getting interesting.
Now, Dr. Horn, I want you to know that I'm here to help you. If there's anything you want, just ask me. If you want to go into town, that can be arranged. Of course, you'd better give us 24-hour notice so we can clear the streets and check out all...
Young man?
Yes, sir.
You may go to the devil.
Of course, he went in to call the Pentagon and protest. He had a lot of spirit for an old civilian of about 75.
Hello? This is Dr. Eric Horn. I want to protest an invasion of my privacy.
Of course, Dr. Horn, I understand.
There's an officious young Cub Scout out at my place making a pest of himself. A lieutenant something.
Lieutenant Colonel Windermere.
But I called Washington.
Yes, sir, but our intercept monitor put the call through to me. We'll take care of any outside calls you wish to make.
Of all the insufferable...
At about 0600 the next morning, I ran a surprise full-scale inspection and simulated infiltration.
Hey, look there! You trigger-happy idiots! It's me, McCabe! And you simulated! You hear?
Fortunately, he was only grazed. The wire-stringing detail worked all night, and we had surrounded the old Victorian house with triple-strand electrified barbed wire with guard towers every 50 feet. At 1400, I paid a call on Dr. Horn.
What are you doing here?
Good afternoon, Dr. Horn. I came in for your report.
My what?
Your daily progress report. It's in my orders. Paragraph 8. Just carry on, sir. Corporal McCabe will take your words down. Oh, his clearance came through last night. You have a method for electronically killing a man without touching him.
Killing, Lieutenant? Will you tell me what in the sweet name of heaven did I say that gave you that particularly stupid notion? But I understand. You think this is a weapon.
Of course, sir.
Of course. My machine renders humans into corpses. A chipped flint will also do that. Look, you simpleton, don't you realize what my machine can do? It can separate that something which, added to a body, produces a man. A subtracted leaves a corpse. I can separate the two things without destroying them. You understand that I can take the ghost of life out of a body and keep it unharmed. Try to understand that, you pig-headed, mule-eared, rabbit-faced...
You're listening to The Haunted Corpse, tonight's attraction on X-1. You know, the property value of your home depends on the well-being of your community and your neighborhood. On things like good lighting for your streets, accessible parks and playgrounds, and cleaning up slums. And what others are doing, you can do. In Michigan, a city group launched Operation Bootstrap to rehabilitate houses, clean up slums, and interest everyone in better living standards. In Pennsylvania, a local real estate board surveyed every property in town, got 500 improved and 50 hopeless slums torn down. So help clean up slums and keep up your own home as well. To help keep your community sound, get into Action. Action is a national organization designed to help you protect the well-being of your community. For free information on your particular problem, write to Action, Box 20, Radio City Station, New York 20, New York. Now, back to X-1 and The Haunted Corpse.
I terminated the interview and went back to headquarters to prepare my situation analysis. Van Pelt, all 300 pounds of him, was waiting for me. He was eating a can of sea ration with a knife.
He's perfectly sane, Colonel, but he's dangerous. Very dangerous. You've got to protect me, absolutely.
Van Pelt, I want the straight dope on Horn. Now, what is this ghost business?
Oh, that. That's just his way of putting it. You see, care to join me in a can of beans?
No, thank you.
Well, there's a difference between a living man and a dead man, and that difference is what Dr. Horn whimsically calls a ghost. Call it life, plus intelligence, plus soul, if there is such a word in your lexicon, Colonel.
You mean his machine conjures up ghosts?
No, Colonel. Dr. Horn is an impossible old vulture, but he's not a faker. Horn can drain the essence of life from a body and store it, or if he wishes, he can replace them in another body. would you mind handing me the can opener? This looks interesting. Macaroni and beef. Supper ration.
Well, so he had a machine that could take a mind out of one body and put it in another body. Well, why didn't he say so straightforwardly instead of beating around the bush like a civilian? Of course, he was a civilian, which might explain it. Next morning, I went to the laboratory with Corporal McCabe and insisted on a demonstration.
All right, this way, gentlemen.
Please, Corporal McCabe is an enlisted man.
At this pole, we have a Cocker Spaniel. And over here, a Rhode Island Red.
That's a right perky-looking chicken, Doc.
If you will kindly stay clear of the terminal areas, I will activate the field.
What's happening?
The field is vibrating at the cycloid rate set on the crystals. All right, it's ready for discharge. Now.
Well?
Watch. Here, Rover. Here, boy. Here, boy.
Hey, that ain't no hound. That's the chicken.
I know. Here, Rover.
Well, I'll be tickled for an eel. That little old chicken is trying to wag its tail.
And over here... Here, chick, 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 chicky. Here, chick, 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 chick.
Well, doggone. I never did see the like of that. A flop-eared, honest-to-Pete dog trying to peck corn.
I had a private conference with the old man later. Under Section K of my security regulations, I moved on my own initiative.
Well, Lieutenant?
Lieutenant Colonel, there is a slight difference.
Well?
Now, can you do this with people?
Indeed I can. But the silly laws covering these things, they won't let me. I've tried. Imagine a simple exchange. A man dying of terminal cancer and a feeble-minded youth. Put the sound mind into the sound body and let the decayed parts rot together. But will they let me? No, no.
You've never tried the machine on people?
No. But you're here, a military man, Very brave. All I need is a volunteer. That coward Van Pelt refused. That's why he sneaked off to you. But a brave soldier like you...
Negative, sir. Negative.
But, Lieutenant...
Negative, sir. And besides, I am not a lieutenant. I'm a field-grade officer. I don't believe you appreciate the investment the service has made in my training. However, if you need volunteers, the Army has a way of obtaining volunteers, sir. We'll see what we can do. Actually, it was easy. First, there was a boy from Maine awaiting court-martial on an AWOL charge. Second, he volunteered when I pointed out he could get up to a year at hard labor. And then McCabe.
Oh, no, Colonel, sir. I ain't a volunteer in time.
Well, McCabe, I have been asked to recommend a non-com for infantry assignment in the Aleutian Islands.
Infantry?
Yes. Advance Rifle Platoon Scout.
The Aleutians?
In the winter.
Colonel, sir, I beg to report you have found a volunteer, namely I.
Dr. Horn had arranged the terminus of the machine poles to be tapped into metal helmets which were adjusted on the heads of the two men.
This here reminds me of playing left tackle.
Ready, Lieutenant?
Ready.
But, Colonel, sir, maybe I better not try this. Well, I mean, I cancel my GI insurance.
The Aleutians?
Yes, sir, Colonel, sir. Well, goodbye.
The test was an anticlimax. It worked. McCabe, that is, McCabe's body, reported himself as Private Ethan Coffin in a broad down-east dialect. I had Horn switch them back, and then I went back to my tent and put through a call. Crash priority.
General Fallon's be on a scrambler circuit, Colonel, sir.
All right. Now leave, McCabe. This is top secret.
They don't never tell me nothing. I swear it's worse than grade school.
Now, General...
Colonel!
Van Pelt, what's the idea of barging in? I'm making a top secret
You
call.
didn't let Horn make his test. You didn't.
Now, out, Van Pelt, out.
That's all he's been waiting for. You gotta listen
McCabe,
to me. Colonel!
Escort Mr. Van Pelt out. I was floating on a cloud of pure joy. I could see my eagles within my grasp. Maybe even a full star. I told the general my plan. Are you still there, sir? Oh, well, you see, we use the device for intelligence. Suppose someone way up top in their government should visit the United States. We switch him, put our own man in his body, you see? Or in wartime, take a few prisoners and put our men inside their bodies. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I can be available for a staff meeting at 0900. Yes, sir. General Windermere. Lieutenant General Windermere. Oh, why not? General of the Armies.
Colonel, sir.
Oh. What is it, McCabe?
That Mr. Van Pelt.
Listen, McCabe, next time I'm on the top-secret scrambler to the Pentagon, don't you dare let anybody into the command tent.
No, sir, Colonel, sir. But this here Van Pelt...
I don't want to hear about him. Now let him cool his heels a while.
Well, he ain't. That is, he left.
Good.
But he carried on something frightful. He kept saying Mr. Horn wanted to live forever.
What?
Screwy, ain't it? That's what he said. He said all Horn was waiting on was to make a test on human beings. He said that he's going to grab the first man he runs into and steal his body. I think he is drunk or something.
McCabe, call a condition red alert.
Well, what for?
Don't argue. Oh, never mind. You go up to the laboratory and take Dr. Horn into custody. I'll give the alert. Now move. I could see it all immediately. I grabbed my sidearm and buckled it on. And I threw the switch that signaled a red alert throughout the unit. Just what you'd expect from a selfish civilian like Horn. He'd take an invention like this and use it to steal other people's bodies to prolong his own nearly senile existence in a younger body. And if that happened, there goes my General Star. Because he'd surely smash the machine and we'd never be able to trace him or switch him back, and we wouldn't know which body he stole. I was held up at the inner perimeter for 5 precious minutes while some idiot insisted on a password. I just happened to forget it, although I had issued it in the morning. Luckily, while I was swearing at him, I accidentally hit the right combination and let me through. Van Pelt had gone into the laboratory. I knew that. Probably to try to stop the old man. But the effect would be to supply him with a body. He'd have to swap immediately. He couldn't take the chance of a heart attack. I ran into the laboratory, my sidearm drawn. Horn! Dr. Horn! Tripped over a human body. Still warm. Dr. Horn. His cast-off cocoon. Abandoned. And then in front of me, I saw him. Van Pelt!
Too late! Too late!
Now, wait. Listen. Oh, McCabe, what happened to you? He slugged you, did he?
Too late!
Now, wait. Don't smash the machine. Van Pelt, I know it's really you, Dr. Horn, in Van Pelt's body. Now put down that gun.
I'll smash it! Smash it!
Stop. Don't break the machine. Listen, Dr. Horn, I'll help you. I'll see you get a good, healthy body as long as you want it. Dr. Horn, think of the safety of our country. Think of security.
No, I'm not Doctor.
Who shot that? McCabe, put that pistol away, you fool! Oh, Horn. Dr. Horn, speak to me. Now, I know it's you in Van Pelt's body. Now, speak to me, Dr. Horn. Oh, he's dead. McCabe, you simple-minded... Why did you kill him? Oh, everything is gone. My General Star, everything. All right, McCabe, report to your quarters. You'll get a court-martial that'll make your hair curl. I sat there in the wrecked laboratory, and I almost cried. Everything gone, the machine, the brilliant mind that knew its secret. I looked at the corpse of Van Pelt that held the mind of Dr. Horn before that idiot McCabe had put a bullet through the brain and killed both. I could almost feel cheerful as I thought of the court-martial to come. It was at that moment that Sergeant O'Hare came in to tell me that McCabe wanted me on the telephone. I picked it up and waited to hear the miserable rat crawl and plead for mercy.
Colonel, sir, this here's Corporal McCabe.
McCabe, there is no use pleading for mercy. I trust you have managed to find your quarters. You're under arrest.
That's what I thought. I don't think I'll stay for the court-martial, Lieutenant. They bore me.
McCabe, But the voice. Dr. Horn.
Precisely, Lieutenant, precisely. Goodbye now. If a body meet a body coming through the... Goodbye, Lieutenant. Thanks for the body.
Fred Collins again, and I'll have another word about X-1 in a moment.
Have you ever asked yourself what this country's most important natural resource is? I'm Dorothy Olson, NBC Bandstand singing schoolteacher. Our most important resource? Well, you might consider it our mineral deposits, or our tremendous sources of water power, or maybe our great forests. Well, these are all very important natural resources, but there's one resource that's more important than all these combined. Our children. Don't neglect them or their educational facilities. Poor schools breed inadequate citizens for tomorrow. And another thing, keep your youngsters in tip-top shape so that they won't miss important school days. Dress them against the weather so they won't catch needless winter colds. Check their wardrobe as they go back to school this fall to be sure that they have plenty of the right kind of clothing. Remember, our children are this nation's most important natural resource. It's your job to protect their future as they go back to school this fall.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
There's excitement in the air at night, and Nightline brings it to you. Hear Nightline with Walter O'Keefe, next on most of these NBC stations.
When the powerful diesel-motored cruiser bearing the Gregory party swept away from the Magic Island, their escape seemed perfect. With only enough oil on board to run the motors a short time, a radio message from Johnson saying he was dropping drums of oil with lighted buoys along their course cheered them on. Then, just 50 miles from Euclidia, the motors sputtered and went dead. And barely in time, the first oil drum was sighted and picked up. But it's now 3 hours later, nearly midnight, and the motors of the Gregory boat have not turned over since the oil drum was taken aboard. They will never run on the oil from that drum, because the drum contained not oil, but turpentine. In the inky blackness of the subtropic night, Captain Bradford and Jerry stand at the rail, near the stern of the helpless boat.
Gee, Tex, we've only made about 2 miles in the last 3 hours. That won't do us any good.
I know it, Jerry, but there isn't a thing we can do about it. That little scrap of sail is all we can hang on to. And even in a stiff breeze, we couldn't make over 4 or 5 knots. With this deadly calm that's all around us, we're lucky to hold her steady.
Why can't we add more sail, Tex? Oh, we've got plenty of canvas, and we could lash a long spar to the mast and hang it on there. It might not look so good, but it'd catch a lot more wind than that dinky little thing.
I don't think I haven't thought of all those things, Jerry. That would only make matters worse if we got a real breeze.
How come? I thought the more sail, the more speed.
Well, that's okay up to a certain point. And on a vessel that was intended for sail. But the mast on this boat was only an afterthought, to use as a radio aerial, and for a little auxiliary sail at times. If you really hung enough canvas on that mast to kick this boat along at good speed, she'd bury her nose so deep we'd never come up. The mast is too far forward. We haven't got keel enough for a canoe. Just won't handle as a sailboat.
Gee, Captain Bradford, it doesn't look so hot for us.
No, kid. We could be a lot better off than we are now.
8 bells, midnight. And we're just about as close to that island as we were when we picked up that oil drum 3 hours ago.
Afraid so, Jerry. We haven't made more than a couple of miles. 3 at the most.
And those Euclidean guys have had 3 hours to wake up and start doing things about catching us.
Yes, and I think that formula of mine, which put them to sleep, might be wearing off any time now, too.
Don't you think we ought to call Johnson, Tex?
I hate to do it. Means that steamer will have to turn around, bring him back here to us, and then probably be captured along with Johnson and all the rest of them.
I'm sorry for Mrs. Gregory.
Yeah, it's been mighty hard on her, all right.
Well, it doesn't matter so much about you and me. After all, we're men, and we can stand a lot more than women can. But poor Mrs. Gregory's been hunting for Joan all over the world for 14 years. And now she's found her. Well, it looks like maybe she'll never get back home.
Well, we mustn't give up, kid. We found that crazy island which the rest of the world didn't know existed. We spent a lot of days there, and we got away. That's more than anybody else ever did.
Yeah, but don't forget about the old sailor they turned loose just long enough for him to broadcast the radio message that brought us here. They took him back to the island, and, well, that was the end of him.
Yes, I know, but nothing like that's going to happen to us.
And say, we never did find the old sailor's diary. I wish Joan and I could have had time to look for it when we went down inside the island.
Oh, it's no use. Anyway, I think Joan knows as much or more about that place as that poor old man ever did.
Oh, gee, I just can't stand here and look at the dark any longer.
Well, what else can we do?
Well, we can walk around the deck. That's better than standing still.
Well, all right, here we go, son. May not do any good, but it certainly can't hurt anything. I'm getting like you. I've got to do something to keep from thinking what a jam we're in.
Well, I guess we might just as well stand at the rail and watch the stars again for a while. Well, I thought I couldn't stand still, and now I'm getting tired of this walking. Well, we must have gone around the deck hundreds of times, Tex.
Yes, we've been on it for hours, son. I only hope Joan and her mother are getting some sleep. They put out the light in their cabin a couple of hours ago. Good thing we had those oil lights on board. Otherwise, we'd have to stay in the dark all the time to save the juice for the radio.
Gee, 8 bells again. 4 o'clock in the morning. We've walked around that deck for 4 hours.
Yes, but our walking was like our thinking. We didn't get anywhere.
Hey, look. The light in Mrs. Gregory's cabin.
Oh, we must have kept them awake walking around this deck.
I'll bet they weren't any more asleep than we were.
No, I expect not. It hasn't been a very restful night for anyone.
Oh, Tex. Jerry.
Hello?
Yes, Pat?
Come here, you two. Will you please?
Sure. Coming right up.
What's the matter, Pat? Something bothering you and Joan?
Nothing more than usual, Tex. It's just this waiting. Waiting. Waiting for what?
Haven't you and Joan been able to sleep at all?
Why, oh, you're all dressed, Mrs. Gregory. I'll bet you didn't even try to sleep.
Yes, I did, Jerry. But it wasn't any good.
Is Joan dressed, too?
Yes. Joan, dear.
Yes, Mother?
Come out on deck, dear. We may just as well talk to Tex and Jerry as to stay in there alone and worry.
I think there is no value in worrying. We can do nothing but wait.
Oh, golly whiskers. What can we do but worry while we're waiting?
I haven't been able to think of anything sensible to do.
I guess none of us have been any too bright about that. It'll soon be daylight. We may be able to hail a passing ship then.
And the Euclideans will surely be fully recovered from the effects of your gas, Captain, and they will be out here after us.
Well, we'd be just as well off on that crazy island as we are out here drifting around in the Pacific Ocean.
But the Euclideans will not be inclined to treat us kindly if they take us back there now.
I've been wondering just what their attitude will be.
You don't think they'd do anything terrible to us, do you?
I think our lives will be safe until G47 gets the captain's formula. But they have many ways of making life very unpleasant.
Yeah, and I'll bet old G47 remembers them all for us.
Well, let's walk around the deck. Jerry and I put in 4 hours at it, and it does help to pass the time away.
I'll say we walked around the deck. I was going to count how many times we did, but I lost track somehow.
I will count the revolutions we complete, Jerry, and you figure how far we travel. That will give us something to do at least.
Gee, I'm all in.
I, too, am very tired.
How about you, Pat?
I think this is as far as I care to go. It's broad daylight now, and we've seen nothing but water. And then more water.
Oh, let's go in the cabin and sit down a while.
Might as well, I guess.
8 bells. 8 o'clock in the morning. And we are very little farther from the island than we were at 9 o'clock last night.
How far has that sail actually carried us, Tex?
Oh, maybe 20, 25 miles in the 11 hours.
Oh, golly. We might as well be standing still.
Well, let's go in the cabin. Ought to be a little juice left in the batteries. I'm afraid the time has come for that last message to Johnson. Go on in, everybody.
Well, I'll find the oil lamp and light it.
I'll lie down and let you do the work, Tex.
Go ahead, Pat. Never mind the light, Jerry. We'll leave this door open. The daylight is good enough. We may even need the little bit of oil in the lamps pretty badly before we get out of this.
Okay, Tex.
I will just sit here on the couch with Mother. My feet do not feel very comfortable.
I wouldn't think so. Now, you three keep quiet, as I'll likely get a mighty weak signal out of this thing if I get any at all.
Gee, there's not much juice there. The tubes aren't even getting hot.
Going to be awful slow work if we ever get 'em hot.
You're going to tell Johnson our position is hopeless, aren't you, Tex? And see if he can't turn that boat around and come after us.
Well, I hate to do it, Pat, but we don't seem to have any choice. Quiet now. I'm going to try it. J24Y to J12C. Hello, J12C. Bradford to Johnson. Hello? Hello, Johnson. QSN? Johnson. QSN. Bradford.
I don't think you're getting out far enough, Tex.
Fred, you're right, kid. We'll just leave it open a minute and see if we can pick up anything before the batteries die entirely out.
I am very much afraid, Captain Bradford, that the Euclideans will have their radios operating by this time, and your message will be picked up.
Tex knows that, dear. But it doesn't matter now. We're almost sure to get caught after all these hours. And if we can get one last message to Johnson, it will give us a thread of hope at least.
Hey, listen, everybody.
What is it, kid?
I mean, quiet. Listen for something.
Yes, I hear it.
It sounds like an airplane.
But where would an airplane come from?
From Euclidia, Jerry.
Quiet, everybody. Yep, that's it, all right. Well, we did our best.
But, Tex, there may be some hope. That plane doesn't have to be from Euclidia.
Oh, I guess there isn't any other place it could be from.
Euclidean speed plane to Gregory Boat.
Oh, it is a Euclidean plane.
Euclidean plane to Captain Bradford. Hello, Bradford. Waiting.
Will you answer him, Tex?
Guess I'd better.
Yeah, he might drop a bomb on us if you don't.
Bradford to plane. Go ahead.
You will drop your sail. Stand by. Lay to for submarine. Drop your bow anchor. You will be towed to Euclidia.
Lay to and stand by for boarding. We'll drop sail.
It is well. That is all. Remember that resistance on your part can mean but one thing. That is all.
Hey, I'm going out and get a look at that plane.
No, kid, you stay here. Pat, you and Joan run and tell the skipper and McLeod to take off the canvas and drop the bow anchor.
We will do it at once, Captain.
What are you and Jerry going to do, Tex?
I've just got an idea. Now, don't worry. We won't do anything foolish. Now, run along and tell the skipper.
We'll hurry, Tex.
Now, what do you want me to do?
Nothing, kid. I just wanted to get Pat and Joan out of here a minute while I tell you something that may prove mighty dangerous to you. But I've got an idea that when we land on the Magic Island this time, we're really going to be prisoners. We may be separated. So there's a few things you'll have to know.
Okay, I'm ready. What are they?
There goes the anchor. I wonder how long it'll be before that sub fixes up.
Commander S1 to Captain Bradford. S1 to the Gregory boat.
Gee, Tex, it's the same girl commander who helped us escape.
Yeah, but she can't do us any good now.
Captain Bradford, you will answer at once. I can hear your open beam.
Bradford to Commander S1. So we meet again. The bow anchor is out for you. Sail being taken down. That all?
That is all. You were wise to follow instructions. Captain, have you a landing stage aboard?
I have. On the port side.
You will make it ready at once. I will personally board you. That is all.
Gee, Tex, the commander's coming aboard herself.
Yeah, she's going to make sure we don't try any tricks.
No, Tex, she's coming aboard so she can get a chance to talk to us before we get back to the island. She's going to help us out.
I'm afraid not, Jerry. When we get back to Euclidia this time, we're done for.
Don't you believe it. That girl's on our side. You'll see when she gets here.
It was easy enough for the Gregory party to find the magic island of Euclidia, but it seems impossible for them to leave it. When Jerry and Joan rendered most of the equipment on the island useless, and the chemical formula of Captain Bradford's put many of the Euclidians to sleep, the Gregory boat left the island in safety. However, they ran out of fuel oil after an hour's run, and a drum of oil left floating on their course proved to be not oil but turpentine. So the helpless boat heaves to and is standing by now to be boarded and towed back to Euclidia by a submarine. Jerry and Joan, Mrs. Gregory, and Captain Bradford stand at the rail, waiting for the submarine.
But I tell you, that woman submarine commander's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, but don't be too sure of that, Jerry. She's coming out to capture us, isn't she?
That is something she cannot refuse to do, Captain Bradford. Her safety and any value she might have as a friend lie in the fact that the Euclideans do not suspect her.
I think that's reasonable enough, Tex.
Well, I'm not so sure, Pat.
Well, we haven't any choice. We're going to be towed back to G47 and his mad colony, and I, for one, have no interest in the person who takes us back.
Oh, you mustn't feel so hopeless, Mrs. Gregory. Why, that girl let the gas in the chemical laboratory put her to sleep just so she could help us before. Maybe she'll find some way to help us again.
You are right, Jerry. Commander S1 will aid us again if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, but I've got a notion that after the way we handled him, old G47 is going to make it his business to see that no such opportunity gets a chance to present itself.
I wonder how close the sub was when she called us on the radio.
Would there be any way of knowing that, Tex?
No, and it wouldn't do any good if we did know. Thinking about getting a last-minute message to Johnson, weren't you, Jerry?
Yeah, I thought we might as well try it.
That would be of no help, Jerry. Johnson is too far away to come to our assistance now.
Yeah, not only that, but the batteries are so weak the set probably won't work more than a few miles.
Johnson might be trying to call us, though. Don't you think one of us should stay in the cabin with the radio?
Well, I'll go in if you want me to, sir.
And I will go with you, Jerry.
Okay, Joan, come on.
Hold it a minute.
Yeah?
You and I'll stay here by this landing stage, kid. Let Joan and her mother go in the cabin and listen to the set. They can watch the sub through the porthole. It might be just as well for our party to be split up at this time.
Tex, what do you expect?
Oh, anything from these crazy Euclideans. But it's just possible Jerry and I might see something to be done.
I think that is well, Mother. We will go. You must be diplomatic, Jerry, and do nothing to irritate the commander.
You'll be careful, won't you, Tex?
Why, sure, honey. Don't worry. Go with Joan.
Dad, what do you think we can do when the submarine gets ready to board us?
Nothing, son. Not a thing. But I'm not sure what kind of treatment to expect from the crew of the submarine. And if anything not so good happens, just as well to have Joan and Pat out of the way.
Now, look, Tex. I know that girl's on our side, and there's no use worrying about it. She runs that boat all alone with a one-man crew, and he'll have to stay with the boat. So she'll come aboard here alone, and she won't do anything to hurt us.
You mean she did run the boat alone when you and Joan rode in the submarine with her? But G47 and his scientists will be plenty sore now. There may be a half a dozen up on that boat.
Oh, what could they do to us?
They could decide that it was just a waste of time to tow this boat back to the Magic Island.
You mean they'd sink the boat?
Yeah, and they'd forget to take us off of it before they sunk it.
Gee whiz. But your formula, Tex. They can't do anything to you until they get the formula.
I'm not entirely sure they haven't got it.
Oh, they couldn't have it. We know Johnson got the message off the pigeons we sent, and that's... Hey, the boat's rocking a whole lot more.
Yes, I think your girlfriend and her submarine are playing around under us here somewhere now.
Golly whiskers. There it is, Tex. There's the nose of the sub.
Yes, sir. Sticking straight up out of the water. I could almost reach out and touch it.
Better not. They'll be throwing open the port and the nose of it in a minute, and that thing's plenty heavy.
Look how it stands there, Jerry. Steady as a rock. Those Euclideans certainly know their stabilization principles.
I think I heard a noise inside the nose of that thing. They must be ready to open it. Boy, look at that. The whole end of it opens up.
They sure hit that landing stage neatly.
Here comes the commander.
You were right, Jerry. She is one of the most beautiful girls I ever saw. Well, we'd better help her up to the landing stage.
That will not be necessary. I personally stabilize the submarine. At this point, I can easily step to the landing stage.
Mighty independent, isn't she?
She's coming aboard alone, too. What did I tell you?
I hope you're right. Sorry we can't offer you more hospitality, Commander, but we're rather helpless here.
You need not apologize, Captain Bradford. I would hardly expect more from one who would attempt such a foolhardy escape as yours.
Well, we figured it was worth trying. Welcome to the ill-fated boat, Commander.
The ill fate of this boat is only in the contemplative stage now.
I got that one. You mean old G47 hasn't had time yet to figure out anything mean enough to do to us.
For one who speaks such a strange jargon as you, Hall, your understanding is surprising at times.
Oh, I'm all here.
Enough of this. You understand what must happen, Captain?
I'm afraid I do. You're to tow us to the island, and again we will be prisoners.
Exactly. But there is more. This time you will not be allowed the freedom you previously enjoyed. You will be prisoners, in fact.
You mean we'll be put in those confinement cells?
Precisely.
Well, it will surprise me pleasantly if that's the worst that happens to us.
That will be only the beginning. Where are Mrs. Gregory and Cleostra?
Well, Mrs. Gregory and Joan are in the radio cabin.
Will you take me to them at once? We have little time.
Might I ask what you want to see them about?
I wish to explain to them that they will accompany me in the submarine, and I wish to explain to them privately.
You're going to take Pat and Joan with you in the sub?
And the captain and I stay here while you drag this boat in by the anchor?
Precisely. Will you hurry and take me to them?
No use arguing, Tex. She'd use that ray gun in a minute. And if anything happened to her, well, old SC-1 out there in the sub would finish us.
I was thinking of something else. Take the commander to the radio cabin, Jerry. I'll give orders to Mac and the skipper.
Okay, if you say so. This way, Commander. Watch your step on this deck. We got a couple of piles of canvas around here.
Hurry, Hall. I will need no guide.
Well, I guess you're never too old to learn. Skipper, McLeod.
Aye, Captain.
Come here a minute, will you?
I've just been waiting for a chance to come over and ask you if it's real or not.
That sub? It's real enough, all right.
Aye, and it just stands there with its nose out of the water while the girl captain looks out of a boat over there. This is a mad business, Captain Bradford.
That's mild, Mac. But here's the orders for the next step.
All right, Captain.
Now, we're to be towed back to Euclidia by that sub. They'll submerge and level it off. Then pick up our bow anchor with a magnetic fin in the stern of that thing. All we can do is to stand by and wait for results.
And when we get to the island, what then?
That's what we can only guess at. But I wanted to warn you that once we're on the island, do just as you're told. And say nothing.
I understand all that right.
Well, that's all, Mac. Relay that to Skipper, will you?
Aye, sir. I will that. And if you don't understand it any better than I do, we both know.
Well, I can't say I blame you much. Oh, hello, Commander. Leaving us so soon?
I will return immediately to my command. The ladies are going to accompany me. It may afford me an opportunity to give them a bit of advice. Please see that they join me as quickly as possible. G47 will be very impatient.
Okay, Commander. I'll hurry them along.
Hurry, John, dear.
Coming, Mother.
The Commander's waiting for you, Pat.
I know it. But there were one or two little things I had to do before leaving.
I am all ready now, Mother. Is Jerry not here yet?
I thought the kid was with you.
The commander sent him to your cabin for something. He will explain after we're gone. Oh, Tex, I'm so afraid of all this.
Well, keep your chin up, Pat. We'll be seeing you on the island in a couple of hours.
Yes, Mother. There is nothing to worry about. And we must hurry. The commander is motioning us to come aboard the submarine.
Come then, John, dear. We'll have to make the best of it. And goodbye, Tex.
Remember, Pat, chin up. Good luck.
Thank you, Captain.
Well, there she goes. I wonder where all this will end.
Hey, Tex.
Yes, Jerry, hurry up. The sub is submerging.
You'd better come here a minute. I got something to show you.
All right, son. Hold it there. I'm coming.
I'm around here in the radio cabin, Tex. I'm sorry I had to yell at you to come here, but I was afraid to be seen around on that side of the boat.
What's it all about, kid?
Well, I think we'd better shut the cabin door. We can't do any good by watching the top of the water anyhow.
You sound mighty mysterious. Well, there it is. What's on your mind?
Well, look. Now, you know Joan and I had a couple of those Euclidean 5-minute ray guns? And those two big ones we took off the guards?
Yes, I know. What about them?
Oh, that girl commander brought us some of the little cylinders you slip inside them. Kind of like a reload.
She did, huh? Well, have you got them all fixed up now?
Yeah, here they are. We'd better keep them hidden in our clothes. The commander was supposed to take them away from us.
Well, what excuse can she offer for not having them when we get back to the island?
Well, she said she could think of some excuse by the time we got there.
Like the submarine must be hooked onto our bow anchor.
Yeah. The boat's beginning to roll a little. Guess we'll make it to the island in a couple of hours.
Yeah, and with these ray guns, Jerry, we've got a chance to do something after we get on the island. But listen, we'll have to watch our step.
The commander said to leave that guard tied up where we've got him till we get to the island.
Yeah, a lot of good he did us. Couldn't get a word out of him.
Well, we might have if we could have had only taken him farther from the... Hey, Tex, the boat's listing pretty bad.
Yeah, guess that bow anchor line is straining crooked.
No, something funny's going on here.
What's up, Skipper?
Listing.
Yeah, I just noticed it.
That anchor pulling crooked?
No.
What's wrong, then?
Leaking.
This boat's leaking?
Aye.
What from?
Hole.
We're shipping water through a hole? How did a hole get in this boat?
Chopped.
Who could have done it?
Prisoner.
That Euclidean guard got loose. Well, where is he now?
Gone.
Golly whiskers.
Exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell.
The term genius is fairly common in our language today. I wonder how many of you realize that the term originated with the old Arabian Nights concept of the genie. You know, the magical creature that came in a bottle and had such wonderful powers. The story is about a whole planet of geniuses. Genie. Interesting people to try to enslave, you know. Laboratory scientists have as much fun as anybody else, you know. One of the laboratory laws, sometimes called Finagle's Law or Murphy's Law, goes, in any laboratory experiment, if something can go wrong, it will. Well, this is the story of a planet-sized laboratory experiment in which something could go wrong.
Professor Heim to His Excellency Marshal Gorham. The ship is now in orbit about the planet of destination.
Good. Good. Have a lifeboat prepared for descent with an invisibility screen.
Yes, Your Excellency. How many crewmen will you want to take along?
None. There'll be just myself and you, Professor Heim.
Sir, you, the Marshal, landing on a barbarian world without even an escort? I'm begging your pardon, sir, but...
Do you mean that the Grand Marshal of the Galactic Imperial Armed Forces can't carry out an undercover inspection on a backward planet without a dozen Marines clanking in his wake?
No, sir. No, sir.
And please remember that the people down there have no weapon more powerful than a bow and arrow. Whereas I will be carrying a nuclear blaster under my coat.
Yes, sir. Of course, Your Excellency.
And while we are down there on that planet, Professor Heim, stand by for possible action. We may have to bombard the place with cobalt missiles. Wipe all the life off it.
Sterilize the entire planet, sir?
You heard me, Professor. I said we may have to. Not that we will. It depends on what I find down there. That peaceful, primitive world may turn out to be just another stupid scientific experiment. Or it may turn out to be the worst danger the Empire and all its stars have faced for 1,000 years. Now, I want you, Professor. I'm in my office at once. Over.
Yes, Your Excellency. Over and out.
Oh, there you are, Professor Heim.
Yes, Marshal Gorham, here I am.
We've arrived at your experimental planet.
I know. I was just watching it float there among the constellations. I don't know a more beautiful sight in the universe.
Well, break out the native costumes for us, too. We're going down.
At once?
I am a military man, Professor, not one of your psychologists. Now, so far, your people have spent 1,500 years studying that planet. But as for me, there's war on the Imperial borders, and I can spare 3 days.
3 days to decide?
To decide whether we can let your experiment go on or whether to discontinue it, shall I say?
But only 3 days. Marshal, you don't realize it would take a week just to explain the statistics of...
I know, I've heard it all. 1,500 years ago, the Psychological Research Foundation decided to learn what makes human history tick by running controlled experiments. So it took a lot of uninhabited planets and put different kinds of people on them.
Well, their memories wiped out, Marshal. The first generation started out knowing as little as animals. They had to discover everything for themselves. Fire, language, the wheel. Do you imagine that their descendants could have learned enough to menace us? To threaten an empire that for 3,000 years has controlled millions of planetary systems?
We've been through all this before, I've told you again and again, I'm not worried about your other experimental worlds. They're still cavemen or less. But this planet here, pure genius stock. A planet where nobody has an IQ below 150. And God knows how high they go. Well, I just can't tell about them. And His Majesty is worried, too. There have been rumors. He sent me here himself to decide whether or not those rumors could be true.
But the people down there don't even know the Galactic Empire exists. Why, the men there are still farming with plows and sailing in steamships.
Sure. What of it? Ordinary men on Earth with an average IQ of 100 needed maybe 500,000 years to get as far as your geniuses have in 1,500. I understand they've already developed Newtonian physics, chemical batteries, telescopes, world government. At that rate, they'll be visiting the other planets of this system in 50 years. They'll reach the stars in a century, and then they'll be loose in the Galactic Empire. Do you think they'd fit tamely into the caste system, like good subjects of the Emperor? Why, they couldn't even if they tried. They'd produce a new invention and a new philosopher every day. And that would mean the end of stability, and that, Professor, would mean the end of the Empire.
So you say, but you're a soldier. You don't understand.
Yes, I know. I'm a dirty militarist who can't see past the end of my own guns. All I'm good for is killing, huh? And you're a noble intellectual scientist. Yeah. I've heard that guff before, Professor, and I've gotten pretty tired of it.
But I tell you, the genius people are cooperative in that.
My orders are to inspect the place and decide for myself whether they're right or not. So that's what I'm going to do. Come along, Hein.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment. When driving, luck can stay with you for years. But on the road, it can leave you in a split second, a tragic split second. So drive carefully. You will live longer, and you will arrive alive.
There's been considerable discussion of what constitutes good and evil over the last few millenniums. But, you know, there's an interesting comment someone made. I don't know where it did originate. Melodrama is the conflict between good and evil. And tragedy is the conflict between good and good. When two good men, each with a good point to make, get into conflict, that's where real tragedy starts.
All right, Professor. I've got the lifeboat into the atmosphere and leveled off. So where do I head now? Hein. Wake up, you wool-headed dreamer.
I'm sorry, Marshal. I was thinking, looking out the porthole and thinking.
What about?
How lovely the sky is. So blue. And the land below, mountains and forests and hopeful young farms.
Oh, no, a poet yet. Well, I'm thinking about my job of inspection. Where shall we go?
Fly northeast for 700 kilometers and you'll find this planet's largest city. It's also the capital of the world government.
That'll do. I should be able to observe a pretty good cross-section of the genius race.
Do you seriously believe you can decide the fate of an entire world on the basis of what you see in one city? How do you expect to learn anything, even there? You don't speak any of the local languages, not even the international one they developed.
You'll talk for both of us. We'll claim to be visitors from a long ways off, the opposite hemisphere. We'll just wander around town for a couple of days, and I'll get the feel of the place.
You mean you decide whether these people live or die just on a basis of a hunch?
Now, here we are. Landed in an empty meadow. You're sure nobody will happen by?
Well, what do we do? The lifeboat is invisible.
Even so. Well, we don't want the genius people learning the truth, do we, Professor?
No, of course not. On that, you and I do agree. But my own motive is that I don't want to spoil the experiment.
Come on, let's get moving. We'll have to hike into the city. It's nice outdoors. Sunshine. I don't know when I last breathed air that didn't come out of a tank.
And you turn all this into black radioactive ash.
Come on, I said, let's start walking. Well, there's a road. It's pretty well paved.
Oh, yes. 10 years ago, this was a livestock trail. Today, they're driving steam automobiles over it. I predict that 10 years from now, the first airplane will use this for a landing strip.
But where's the mass market to support all that progress?
There isn't much of one. Actually, most people here are still riding around in buggies. You see, they have a unique social system. The average man on this planet would rather buy a new book than a new gadget. But at the same time, their engineers keep on making inventions because a mind of such power can't help being creative.
And I tell you, the Empire can't afford what you call creativeness. So this is their biggest city.
Right. There are about 1 million people in it.
You call that a city?
Oh, considering the small population of this world, yes.
It's backward, all right. Carts pulled by animals. Water pumped by windmills. Bearded men in clothes of vegetable fiber. Wood and plaster houses. Gas lamps.
That's what I keep telling you, Marshal. These people aren't demons. They're as human as you and I. They're born the same way as us. Grow up, learn, love, laugh, weep, and die like human beings anywhere in all space and time. They simply happen to be more intelligent. Let them live.
70 generations ago, they were savages. They didn't even know how to chip a flint. And now they've come to this.
Yes. Our observers mingling with him in disguise have already learned more about his particle dynamics than...
Oh, sure, this city is still primitive. But in another 100 years, they have schools, laboratories. They don't frown on artists and scientists and philosophers. They glorify them. So, in 100 years, they'll be out among the stars. And we don't dare allow that.
But they won't, Marshal. Not necessarily. If only you'd let me show you the economic data. For instance, the great uninhabited spaces they still have right on their home planet.
Shut up, I'm thinking.
Thinking? I don't think you're able to.
What did you say?
Nothing.
I have a knife, Grand Marshal Gorham. You don't know that, do you? You think I'm just another ineffectual little dreamer, don't you? Well, you may find out different.
If by militarist we mean someone who believes that it is necessary to use physical force to carry out, to implement a theory, a belief, then it looks to me like Professor Heim has become a militarist. He intends to use force, doesn't he?
Canal to Solar. Hör
Saban,
What did he say, that bellhop or whatever he was?
He wished us good night in the international language. He thinks we're foreigners, you remember?
Ha! If he only knew how foreign.
That's a cheap way to feel superior, isn't it?
Oh, shut up, Heim. I'm still trying to decide what to do about this planet. There are too many paradoxes. The waiter in the restaurant wanted to ask you about the ethnology of the country he thought we came from. This is a nice, clean hotel room, but it doesn't have running water. And yet the clerk downstairs was reading what I swear must have been a mathematical journal.
Does that make them monsters? Under the social system here, such routine jobs are done by students. And, of course, every person on this planet goes through at least 5 years of college. But that's all it amounts to, Gorham.
A whole world of long-haired dreamers who are experimenting with aircraft and rockets, who developed the theory of evolution before they learned how to smelt iron. I don't trust them.
Of course, you don't understand them. You're too... I mean...
Too stupid? Isn't that what you're going to say, Professor? I'm just a dumb militarist who worked his way from private soldier to Grand Marshal of the Galactic Empire. No fine scientist, just a hired hand keeping the barbarian raiders off your scientific back. Well, Professor Heim, I happen to be the man who will decide what's to become of this planet of geniuses.
And have you decided yet, Your Excellency?
Not yet. I can still take a couple of days to...
2 more days? After the Foundation worked for 1,500 years?
Wait. What are you doing?
This is a knife in my hand, Marshal Gorham. Don't move. If you reach for that blaster, I'll kill you.
You gone crazy, Heim?
No. You're the crazy one. You're the lunatic who wouldn't blot out man's last best hope, this planet. You allow yourself 3 days to decide the whole future of the world. Now unbuckle that blaster. Don't let your hand come near the trigger. Out. Drop it on the floor. Kick it over to me. So. Now I've got you where I want you.
But, Professor, I haven't decided anything yet. I might decide this experiment is safe. I might still report to the Emperor. There's nothing to be afraid of. He can forget your race.
You might, but I know you won't. I'm going to kill you, Marshal Gorham. I'm going to report to the spaceship captain that you died accidentally, and then I'm going to hope that the next Imperial Inspector will be more reasonable.
Look out! Stand back, you fool! Don't!
I only stabbed you in the arm that time, Marshal Gorham, but you're in a corner now. I'll get you this time.
Clo, very down. Go along, or I don't go along, you rat.
Ustanik, Sholti, Clo!
Clo! You spoke their language. You already know the language of this planet.
Aye.
The attendant has the key, of course. He's coming in. Drop that knife, Professor Heim. He's a husky chap.
Shalom.
Aye. Take la odore. Drop that knife, I said, Professor.
Yes, of course.
Sit down, Heim. You look more shocked than I am. Cavallano Marto, Dan. He's gone after the first aid kit for me. Not that you hurt me seriously.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
And you're a native of this planet yourself.
Yes. I was born here, though I've lived most of my life out in the Empire.
We thought we were keeping a planet full of geniuses and ignorance. How long have you known?
We began to suspect the truth 500 years ago. And we discovered that all life had evolved from lower forms, but couldn't find a subhuman ancestor for man. And finally, your disguised observers were identified. We even used blind man techniques to spot those wearing invisibility screens. Did you really expect you could go on fooling a race with twice your brain power?
Well, we thought so. Yes, I suppose it was foolish.
Some of us wormed our way into space as stowaways or in disguise, that sort of thing. People here live quietly, so as not to give the show away. We don't tell our children the truth till they're old enough to keep up the pretense. But meanwhile, for the past 300 years, our agents have been out in the Empire, learning everything you know, posing as citizens, working up into the key positions of your government. We can do that by sheer merit.
Yes, obviously you can become imperial marshals.
Quite. And when the Emperor got suspicious, he sent me, his trusted soldier, a notorious anti-intellectual, to check up for him. Naturally, I was going to give this planet a clean bill of health, but I had to string you along first to make it look good. Evidently, I put on a better act than I had planned.
And now that I know your secret,
I'll have to report that you were accidentally killed here, Professor. But don't worry. All you have to do is spend the rest of your life here as one of us. I don't think you'll mind that.
Oh, no, not personally. I'd enjoy it. I used to envy the people on this world. But when your race, I mean, when you've completely taken over the Galactic Empire from within, what do you plan to do?
Well, we'll remodel it, shall I say. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand exactly what we intend to do. It's a little beyond your grasp, but it will be for the benefit of the ordinary galactic citizen, too. The poor, backward, benighted galactic empire.
They say that the first requirement for teaching a dog to do tricks is that you have to know more than the dog. If you want to teach a planet full of geniuses to do tricks for you, first make sure you know more than the geniuses. You can enslave some kinds of entities, but you can't enslave, you can't impose on entities who are more intelligent, more thoughtful, more wise than you yourself. What will happen is they'll turn out to be helping you in disguise.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Ron Dawson and Al Ruscio. Script was by Powell Anderson, produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Guy Wallace speaking.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look at the sky! Look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent.
mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. When we last saw Kent, he had assumed the familiar costume of Superman, and, red cloak flying in the night wind, was speeding to the rescue of Lois Lane, star girl reporter, an unwilling passenger on a streamlined express bound for San Francisco. Walter Huffman, a dishonest dealer in jewels, and Hu Ling, his Chinese henchman, watch her constantly from an adjacent drawing room. But even as Superman spans the miles like some giant bird, the suspicion that all is not right creeps into Huffman's mind. As the train roars into the night, he and Hu Ling talk softly. Listen.
Hu Ling.
Yes, Huffman.
I have been thinking, Hu Ling. Thinking about that telegram Miss Lane tried to send.
It is said many men have been hanged because of a woman's cleverness. Beware, Huffman.
Yes, we are too close to our goal to let it slip through our fingers now. You realize what it means, Hu Ling? Once we have in our possession the 10 Chinese herbs described by the dragon's teeth, we will own you and I a medicine that will cure all disease.
But in the meantime, what about the girl?
I think it's best not to take any chances. If that telegram she tried to send had gotten through, the police would have been waiting for us in San Francisco with open arms the moment this train pulled in. And for all I know, that reporter Kent may have given the police orders to watch all trains.
Then what do you suggest?
The next stop is a place called Carson City. We'll arrive there in 10 minutes. You will get off with Miss Lane, hire or buy a car, and proceed the rest of the way by automobile.
A very clever idea, Huffman. Very clever.
See that our bags are packed and ready to go. I will take care of Miss Lane. Work quickly. There is no time to waste.
Meanwhile, high above the dark countryside, the figure leaps forward in furious flight, following the thin ribbons of steel that wind in and out of mountainous ravines and over towering trestles. Faster and ever faster, mocking even the wind in his flight.
I hope this isn't a wild goose chase. No, I'm certain it isn't. Lois never sent that wire ordering me back east. It was a fake. I should be sighting that train soon. It's somewhere here in the mountains, this side of Carson City. I'm almost sure Lois is on it. And if she is, that means Huffman is there, too. And Hu Ling. All I want with those two is 60 seconds. What was that? Sounded like a train whistle. Yes, it is. And I can see the train down below. Those flickering lights up ahead must be Carson City. Makes a stop there. I wonder whether I'd better wait until it pulls out of the station before boarding it as Clark Kent. And I'll just drop down a little closer and take a look. It's the Pacific Flyer, all right. The only train they could be on. I suppose I could get aboard now as well as any other time. Down! Down! Oh, just caught myself in time. There's a brakeman swinging a red lantern on the observation platform. Lucky thing he didn't see me. Well, now I'll have to wait until she pulls out of the station. Maybe it's best. She's slowing up. There. She's in the station. I'll drop down and hide behind the observation car until she starts rolling again. Down! Down! There, that does it. Yeah, I'm well hidden here. And the moment the train starts, I'll swing aboard. Lois will certainly be surprised to see me. Not to mention Walter Huffman. Train starting. The brakeman's probably left the observation platform by now. Yes, he has. Here we go, on board. Up.
Hello, Hu Ling. I have a feeling we did a wise thing leaving that train at Carson City.
Certainly no harm was done.
Well, it won't help you, Huffman. Nothing will help you. Sooner or later, men like you and that Chinaman in the back seat gets what's coming to them.
You must not lose control of your temper, Miss Lane. The sun is hot, and we have a long trip across the open plains. 300 miles. conserve your energy.
It is said that anger is poison to the blood.
Oh, if you don't stop telling me what's said, I'll... Oh, what's the use? There's no sense trying to talk to either of you. You're not human beings, you're beasts.
Those are very unkind words, Miss Lane. Have we not treated you with the utmost courtesy?
Of course you have. Telling everyone I was crazy.
Well, that, unfortunately, was unavoidable. You will admit, if you are at all fair, that it was clever, no?
Not clever, Huffman. Diabolical. You've got the mind of a devil, Huffman.
You are very complimentary, Miss Lane. I do not deserve it.
You deserve everything that's coming to you, and more, and you'll get it.
Perhaps. Better close that window, Miss Lane. The dust is blowing in.
You were warned about that. Remember, the man you bought the car from said there might be a dust storm.
You're not worried, are you?
No, not the least bit.
Good. I admire women who have courage. Yes. It does seem to be blowing up. Keep your eyes open for road markers. We don't want to lose our way.
Oh, this is your little party, Huffman. Keep your own eyes open.
Now, look, Porter, my name is Clark Kent. See these credentials? This press card. I'm a newspaper man with the Daily Planet.
I'm sorry, sir, but we ain't allowed to give out no information about passengers.
But this young lady was a personal friend of mine.
That don't make no difference, sir.
Now, does this make any difference?
$10 bill. Yes, sir.
All right, now tell me what I want to know. Was the young lady answering the description I gave you on board this train?
Yes, sir. She the one who got bats in the belfry.
What?
She kind of crazy.
Who told you that?
The gentleman traveling with her. He said I wasn't to pay no mind if she come out with something queer.
Oh, this gentleman who was traveling with her, Porter, did he have an accent?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. And was there a Chinaman with him?
Sure enough.
Where are they now? On this train?
No, sir. They done got off at Carson City.
With the young lady?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I've got to go after them.
Yeah, but we don't make no stop till we get to Pine Valley. That's a good 2-hour run.
Yes, I know. Well, thanks. Thanks a lot, Porter.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, sir. Yes, sir. You're sure enough welcome.
Pine Valley. Every second counts now. As it is, I may not be able to pick up their trail. Oh, why didn't I board the train before it reached Carson City? Well, no sense crying over spilled milk. Got to get off this train the same way I got on, through the observation platform. Here we are. Good thing it's empty. Nobody's watching me. Now I can drop Clark Kent.
For Superman. You slipped through this time, Huffman, but it won't be for long. Up, and away!
The dust storm is getting pretty bad. How far back did we get off the road, Miss Lane?
Well, I don't know. I told you this is your little party. You go ahead and run it.
I can't see with the dust blowing against the windshield. I have to go out and look around.
You will need some assistance, Huffman.
No, Holding, stay where you are. I will be right back.
Only a fool who thinks he's clever would have started out in the face of warnings.
It is not for you to criticize.
I know. It is said that only a critic can criticize.
You had better hold your tongue, young lady.
I can't find the road. The dust is blinding.
Well, now, Mr. Smart Aleck, what's the next?
Keep quiet, Miss Lane. I'm in no humor for joking.
Well, what do we do? Sit here and let the dust bury us alive?
We keep going as long as we can, across the plain.
Well, if you'd listen to that man back in Carson City...
Why must we be subjected to her, Huffman? Must she continue with us?
No, you wouldn't dare.
Who can tell?
Well, maybe it'd be better if we turned back.
Back there. They've lost our sense of direction. There's nothing but dust and more dust, and that wind
Look, how much longer do we keep going this way? For all you know, we're moving in circles.
I told you to keep quiet. First, by the minute.
What happened?
Car stalled. We are carrying too big a load.
What does that mean?
It means we cannot continue carrying so big a load.
Do as I suggested, Huffman.
Oh, no. No.
I am sorry, Miss Lane. There is no other way.
Oh, no. No, you can't leave me here in this storm. I'll suffocate. The dust...
There's no choice. The car must be light.
But I'm not very heavy.
It is not you alone. Wu Ling must remain behind, too.
You do not mean that, Huffman?
I mean it. With only one in the car, there may be a chance.
It's not human. Oh, please. Please don't leave us behind, Huffman.
I have helped you get the jail, Huffman. It is because of Wu Ling that you have the dragon's teeth.
I know, Wu Ling, but There's nothing else to do.
No, you cannot do this.
Put down that knife, Huling. I have a gun.
If one must live, it will be Huling.
You struck him on the head.
It was my life or his. I'd carry him out and leave him here with you. You'll be all right shortly. Step from the car, Miss Lane.
Oh, no. No, please.
Step from the car.
Hoffman.
Goodbye, Miss Lane. And good luck.
Oh, no. No. No, come back. Come back. Come back. Come back.
Lost in the blinding horror of a dust storm, Lois, panic-stricken, watches the car vanish into the night. Alone, with only the unconscious Huling crumpled at her feet. Can Superman find her on the endless prairie? Don't forget to tune in next time for another thrill-packed episode with Superman.
Tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky. Look.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky. Look.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. It's Superman.
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who fights a never-ending battle against crime and injustice, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. The Adventure of the Dragon's Teeth, 10 jade pieces which are said to contain the secret of everlasting life, is rapidly coming to a close. In our last episode, we heard how the villainous Walter Huffman, his henchman Huling, and their captive Lois Lane left the transcontinental train at Carson City instead of continuing on to San Francisco. With the 10 dragon's teeth in his possession, Huffman intended to take a boat for China. But suspecting that the police would be waiting for him when he got off the train, he decided to continue the journey from Carson City by automobile. While crossing the prairie in the car, Huffman and his two companions ran into a deadly dust storm. And then... But wait. Listen.
Hoffman, you can't do this to us. Huling may be dying. His skull may be fractured from the crack over the hedge you gave him with your gun.
You think it matters to me what happens to you, too? I have the 10 dragon's teeth. The star cannot carry the 3 of us through this infernal dust storm. So then you two must remain behind.
But that's murder. We're miles from nowhere, and this dust storm is getting worse. I can hardly see or breathe now.
That's too bad.
Huffman, wait. Please listen to me, Huffman.
I am sorry, Miss Lane. You must do the best you can. Goodbye.
Huffman, come back. Come back, Huffman, come back. I've got to do something. This dust, it's blinding me, choking me. I must go on, but which way?
Ancestors.
Huling. He's coming too. Here, Huling. I'll help you get out. Huling.
You devil woman. Stay away from me.
Devil woman?
Yes, you devil woman. Ancestors, take her away from me. Take from me these million demons that bite and sting my face, blind my eyes, choke my throat.
He's out of his mind.
Ancestors,
Huffman hitting him on the head with his gun.
Ancestors.
That's it.
Ancestors, have mercy. Save me. Save me.
Stop raving mad. I've got to do something.
Ancestors, you stay from me. You devil woman.
Listen to me, Huling. I'm not a devil woman. Your ancestors sent me to help you.
Help me?
Yes. I'm no devil. I'm a good spirit. Follow me, Huling, and I'll save you. Will you follow?
Follow you?
Yes.
Yes, I follow. Where would you go? We go.
Yes. Where? Come, Huling. Come with me.
On into the swirling death of the dust storm walked this strange pair. A beautiful young girl leading by the hand a half-crazed Chinese. The dust-laden wind wraps itself around them, swallows them up like some great monster as they disappear from sight. Meanwhile, at Carson City, Superman has assumed his disguise of Clark Kent and is trying to pick up the trail of Walter Huffman.
The conductor said the three of them got off the train here at Carson City. That means Huffman, Huling, and Lois. Why should Huffman decide to get off the train here instead of going on to San Francisco? He may have figured that the police would be waiting for him when he stepped off the train on the coast. But he's got to get to San Francisco if he wants to take a boat to China. How? No airport here, so he'd have to use a car. That's it, a car. That means he and the others are on their way to the coast in it now. Guess I'd better get a little information from that policeman over there. Excuse me, officer.
Yes, young man, what can I do for you?
I wonder if you can help me, officer. I'm planning to drive from here to San Francisco starting this afternoon. What's the best way to go?
Well, there's only one way you can go, and you won't be taking it this afternoon.
I don't understand.
The only way of going is across the Great Prairie. You got to hit Mineville before you can pick up the main highway for the coast. And Mineville's on the other side of the prairie.
Oh, thanks very much. That's all I wanted to know.
Wait a minute, fella, wait a minute. Did you notice anything peculiar about the air in this town?
Yeah, no. Kind of windy and dusty, but...
Windy and dusty, eh? You see that huge black cloud hanging low over the horizon there?
Yes, looks like an approaching storm.
Brother, that's a sandstorm. Take my advice and stay here in Carson City till it blows over. Your life would be worth a plug nickel if you tried to get through that.
Dangerous as all that, eh?
Mister, I've seen people brought in off the prairie after one of these dust storms. They weren't pleasant to look at. It isn't just the dust clogging your nose and throat so you can't breathe. It's, well, those dust particles driven by a howling wind are just like knives. No, sir. Those people weren't pleasant to look at.
I see. Oh, thanks for the tip. I guess I'll wait till it blows over.
Yeah, I would if I were you. Doesn't pay to take chances.
Thanks, officer. Huffman took a chance unless I miss my guess. I better make for that alley where I won't be seen. Unless I'm mistaken, the chances are Lois will be needing my help right now.
Even the help of Superman. Here's the alley. Got to change quickly. There we are. Now, up! Up! And away!
Willie, keep hold of my hand. We must go on.
No. 1,000 demons fill my eyes, my throat. 10,000 knives cut my face, my hands. You are devil woman.
Please, Huling, come on. It's our only chance. We've got to keep going until the storm's over.
No, we stop. Huling, move no further.
Why do you look at me like that?
Who you are?
I've told you, Huling. I'm a good spirit sent by your ancestors.
No, you are evil spirit. You are devil woman. Do you think to trick Huling going with you?
Oh, no.
Listen.
No.
Listen. Round a scream voice of 1,000 demons. You hear?
Oh, that's the wind.
No. Demons. You bring them.
Huling, listen. You must try to remember. Huffman. Walter Huffman. He struck you over the head with his gun. Remember, Huling?
No. You are devil.
Huffman struck you and threw you out of the car. Remember? Then he forced me out of the car and drove off, leaving us alone. Don't you remember, Huling? Huling!
Huling, fight evil spirit.
Oh, no. No, get away!
No, fight evil spirit.
Stay away from me, you madman. You're out of your mind. You're crazy. Stay away.
Huling, fight evil spirit.
Oh, no. No, Huling. Please don't. Please.
Meanwhile, red cloaks streaming in the gale, Superman speeds across the prairie, searching. His X-ray eyes piercing the wall of swirling dust.
That cop was right. Easy to understand what this dust storm would do to a mortal person. I've got a feeling the quicker I get to Lois, the better. I only knew... Wait. There below me. Something. Down! The automobile burned to a charred and blackened hulk. This must be the car. Great Scott, if Lois was in this car. Better investigate. There's no one here. Whoever was driving couldn't see the ravine because of the sandstorm. car went over the embankment, caught fire. Hello, what's this? What? The teeth. The dragon's teeth. Melted and fused together into one piece by the fire. Well, that's the end of that. I'd better get started again and see if I can't find... Wait a minute. Someone lying over there near those bushes. Why, it's Huffman. Walter Huffman. Let's see. Neck broken. Managed to crawl from the car and then collapsed. Why wasn't Lois with him? And Hu Ling? I'd better look into that right now. Up! Up! And away!
Hu Ling, fight she devil.
See, Hu Ling, you must listen to me. Don't you see? The storm's over now. We must go on. We must get out of this prairie.
She devil try to fight Hu Ling. Now Hu Ling fight you.
Oh, no. No, Hu Ling.
Run. You run, then Hu Ling catch you.
Oh, no, please. Listen to me.
You no run, eh? Then here.
Hu Ling, please. Let go of me.
You no run away. Then Hu Ling use knife on you. Now.
Stop. Put down that knife.
No. No, Hu Ling kill.
I'm sorry, Miss Lane. It was the only way to stop him.
Superman.
Yes.
Thank heaven. That madman would have taken my life.
Now, there's no time to lose. I've got to get you two out of this prairie before the dust storm kicks up again. This is only a temporary lull.
Wait. Walter Huffman. He made off in a car with the dragon's teeth and he...
You can forget both Huffman and the dragon's teeth. Huffman is dead. The dragon's teeth are gone forever.
Oh. Oh.
Once again, a single man's greed has deprived humanity of a means to alleviate much of its suffering. But now, Miss Lane, I'm going to take you and Hu Ling back to Metropolis. There, I've got Hu Ling. If I may put my arm around your waist.
Of course.
There we are. And now, up, up, and away!
Once again, Superman's curious powers and amazing abilities bring matters to a happy and successful conclusion. What further adventures await Superman in his never-ending battle against crime and injustice? Be sure to hear the next thrilling episode and begin a new adventure with Superman.
Tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky. Look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
Roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Solar Guard headquarters in Equator City is one of the newest and most imposing buildings in that thriving metropolis. In an office on the 95th floor of the tower, Cadet Tom Corbett presses a button which opens a sliding door to admit a visitor. A tall, good-looking stranger enters the room and, smiling, extends his hand.
Cadet Corbett? That's right. My name's Polk. Leo Polk, mostly called Lucky, which I usually am. What can I do for you, Mr. Polk? Well, I wanted to see Captain Strong. Captain Strong blasted off for Delport 3 days ago. For Delport? Ouch. Oh, what's the matter? Well, Lucky Leo's not so lucky. I sure wanted to see Captain Strong. Sorry, but you see, Delport's a newly discovered planet with its own atmosphere, a tropical belt that's a regular paradise in space. And mineral wealth, too, I hear. So you know about Delport? Yep, I heard about it just the other day at Venusport. And about some kind of colonization race. Now, what is that, anyway? Well, Mr. Polk... Leo, huh? Okay, Leo. Since it's such a rich planet, the Interplanetary Council is opening it up to colonists. A group of rocket ships blast off tomorrow at dawn. Ship owners and crew members get the right to claim sections of land in order of their arrival.
Now you're talking. Corbett, that's what I'm here for. I want to go along.
I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Why not? Look, Corbett, I hold an unrestricted pilot's license, not only for solar system travel, but outer space as well.
Well, that's not the point. The race starts in just a few hours, so the crews are all, they're all made up.
No passengers? I might be able to raise some money.
Say, Tom, I've got that list of it. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you had a visitor.
No, that's all right, Astro. Meet Leo Polk. He's a licensed space pilot.
How are you?
Wanted to sign on for the Delport land rush.
Have you explained about
Yeah, Corbett told me.
There's been a lot of interest in this thing, Mr. Polk. Why, look at this list of spacemen who put their names down as substitutes, just in case some regular crewman gets sick or something.
Well, you got any pilots on that list?
Well, let's see. Wiper, power engineer, spacehand first class, radio repairman, astrogator, communications engineer. We've got about every rating here except pilot.
I wish you'd put me down.
There's not a chance in a million, Bud, if you want me to list you.
Thanks, Corbett, I do. If you need me, I'll be at the Corina Hotel. Right. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Thanks a lot, gentlemen.
What an optimist. The biggest land rush of the century, and he expects to get in on it at the last minute.
Yeah. Nice guy, though. Hey, wait. Don't take off your jacket. It's time for evening inspection.
Oh, let's do it after chow. I've been on the jump all afternoon, and I'm starved.
We can't take any chances, Astro. If those 5 ships don't blast off on schedule tomorrow morning, we'll be a couple of ex-cadets. The spaceport sure is quiet tonight, Astro.
And look at the sky. Wish we were at Delport now with Roger and Captain Strong.
We'll be there soon enough. Somebody had to stay behind to make sure that none of the 5 ships jumped the gun. You know, took unfair advantage.
Oh, nobody's going to try any funny stuff after all.
Astro, watch your step there.
Blast it. Now, what dope left the duffel bag out on the field?
That's no duffel bag.
Well, it'll be a Martian mouse. It's a man.
Throw your light on him.
Tom, look. His head.
Yes, he's hurt.
Here, I'll turn him around a little.
Great galaxy, Astro. Don't you recognize him?
It's the pilot of the Thespian. And is that gonna be trouble?
Well, why? What do you mean?
The Thespian. That's Chatfield's ship. You know, Chatfield the actor. If he can't blast off for Delport with the others, he'll have our hide.
He's going to blast off, Astro. It's our job to make sure of that. But first, let's get this poor guy to the hospital.
Hey, Tom, you're certainly in a hurry to get out of this hospital.
We've got work to do.
Yeah, but Doc says the pilot may regain consciousness soon, and he may be able to tell us who slugged him.
And Chatfield's there. He'll join us at the Serena Hotel as soon as there's anything new.
Serena? Why are we going there?
Chatfield needs a pilot. And remember our friend Leo?
Polk, you mean? Who was in the office this afternoon?
Right. If we work fast, we can screen him and have Chatfield all set by blast-off time.
Desk's over this way, Tom.
Right. Let's go check. Oh, blast. What now? Hello, Mr. Sutton. Astro, why don't you get Polk's room number while I see what Sutton wants?
Is that the Sutton who owns one of the expedition ships?
Yeah, the New World is his. And that's his captain with him, name of Dunning. Go on, Astro. Get the room number.
Okay, but you better get rid of them fast, Tom.
Corbett, you're just the man I want to see.
What can I do for you, Mr. Sutton?
We've heard rumors that Chatfield's ship won't be blasting off tomorrow.
Oh? Now tell me, Dunning, where did you hear that?
Well, it's all over the place, Corbett. The way we hear it, the Thespian's pilot's in the hospital. So naturally, without a pilot, they're out of luck.
Oh, there you are.
Mr. Chatfield.
Listen, Corbett. My pilot swears that the villain who attacked him wore the insignia of a New World crewman on his sleeve.
You must be blast happy, Chatfield. Plain crazy.
Now, look here, gentlemen.
You two are the crazy ones. Crazy to get to Delport first. Crazy to claim the mineral deposits by the lake. Crazy enough to kill.
Of course we hope to grab off the mineral deposits, don't you? Why, they're the biggest prize on the planet.
Don't try to lie out of it. Corbett, my man saw the New World insignia on the man who attacked him.
It's a frame-up.
So I demand that you place Sutton and Dunning under arrest right now.
You are crazy. Why, you broken-down ham-act.
Broken down, Dunning, eh? Well, I'll show you.
We're no fighting President of both of you. If it's the strap you want, Chatfield, we'll be glad to oblige. Heavy Adam, boss. Dunning, put away that blast. Anything he can start, I can finish.
I said put that blast
away.
Let go of it,
Corbett.
Tom, look out. He's trying to fire.
Tom.
You've killed him, Dunning. You've killed him.
return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spacemen, attention. Here's our latest report on your official space goggles. Right now, a spaceship is headed on a course toward Space Academy with a special cargo of emergency rations. Space Academy is stocking up with a needed supply of Kellogg's Pep, that swell-tasting cereal with a rich malt flavor. You see, now more than ever before, the cadets need the wonderful food energy everybody gets by eating the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Every cadet is standing extra duty and working hard so that you can get your pair of space goggles as soon as possible. Well, the cadets don't mind this added work because they want you to have this valuable piece of space equipment. They want you to have the protection you need, whether you're heading into the glaring sun, bucking a strong headwind, or working with tools in your workshop. These streamlined space goggles help give you protection against the elements. They're made of one sweeping curved piece of colored plastic, and they give you full, clear visibility wherever you look. Now, to get a pair, here's what you do. Send one Kellogg's Pep box top, 25 cents, and your name and address. One box top from Kellogg's Pep, 25 cents, and your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Here it is again. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Be a regular spaceman with an official piece of equipment from Space Academy. Send for your space goggles today.
On the eve of the land rush expedition to the newly discovered planet of Delport, two of the competing rocket ship owners, Chatfield and Sutton, get into a fight. And Dunning, Sutton's captain, mixes in with a blast gun. Tom Corbett tries to disarm him. But as they struggle for the gun, it goes off. And Tom falls apparently lifeless to the floor. Now, a few minutes later.
By the craters of Luna, Tom. I thought you were a goner that time.
I just got caught in the fringe of the blast. Help me up.
Steady now.
Chatfield okay?
Yes. You grabbed Dunning's arm just in time.
Well, then all's well.
Not quite. They're holding Dunning outside, Tom, so you can prefer charges.
Tell them to let him go.
Huh?
Astro, nothing must interfere with blastoff. All 5 ships go on schedule.
If you ask me, the New World ought to be grounded.
Maybe so, but that business of the insignia on the attacker's arm, well, it just looked a little pat. As though it might have been a frame-up.
Oh, there you are.
Hello, Polk.
Hi, what happened to you two anyway? I waited in my room after Astro called, but you didn't show.
Glad you came down. Still want that pilot's job?
Still want? You kidding?
Not a bit of it. Don't ask any questions. There's no time. We've got to screen you right away.
You're wasting time, Corbett.
Well, why?
I'm Lucky Leo, remember? You can screen me, find out I've got 2 heads, or even no head at all. I'm still blasting off in the morning.
There's the teleceiver. Sounds like a local call.
I'll get it. Solar Guard Headquarters, Expedition Section.
Hello, Corbett. Anything new on my pilot? I'm getting worried. We only have a few hours left.
We've just finished. Folks okay, Mr. Chatfield.
Then I've got a pilot.
That's right.
Well, in the words of the bard, sweet are the uses of adversity. 1,000 thanks to you, Corbett.
We're as glad to straighten this out as you are. Just be ready for blast-off at dawn.
I shall take all swift advantage of the hours. Until then, sir, farewell.
What a character. He took this better than I thought.
Tom, listen. If the thespian pilot was beaten up to keep Chatfield's ship out of the race,
yes,
then whoever did it might try again.
Right. I've already asked for extra guards on the firing tables.
Oh, good. Tom, let's get in a little sack time.
Not tonight, Astro. Get your parallel ray. Right now, we're going out to join those guards.
Hold up a minute, Tom. Somebody's moving around over there near Sutton's rocket.
Come on, Astro. Let's investigate.
You there! Come out of those shadows.
Certainly, gentlemen. Good evening.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Chatfield.
What are you doing out here on the spaceport at this hour, sir?
Killing time, waiting for dawn. And a long wait it is, too. Oh, weary nights, oh, long and tedious nights, abate thy hours. Shine, comforts from the east. From Midsummer Night's Dream, you recognize the lines.
I'm afraid not, sir. But we'll have to ask you to leave the firing table area until 2 hours before blast-off.
Rules, rules, rules. What slaves we are to regulation.
Mr. Chatfield, there's been one unfortunate incident already tonight, and we... Tom, the alarm bell.
It's a fire. Look over there at the north end of the field.
A veritable inferno.
Quick, Astro, alert all crews. There's enough rocket fuel stored in that hangar to blast us all to space dust. Back out of the way, everybody. Here comes the emergency squad unit. Stand back. What happened, Paul? Keep back, Captain Dunning. This rocket fuel may go up any second.
Tom, help me clear a lane.
Okay, Astro. Everybody out into the field. We're out now on the double. Please.
That's far enough, driver. Leave the main unit there.
Get those foam guns trained on that hangar door. I want to detail the 3 men to follow me around on this side.
You 3 in asbestos suits follow Cadet Corbett. Take portable guns.
On over this way. That's it. Now get up close to those windows and open up with the foam. If those flames ever reach the rocket juice, the whole field will go. Okay, that's far enough. Open up.
Smothering on this side, Tom.
Good. Bring your men around my way, Astro.
Come on, you heard him. Let's go.
That's it, men. Bring all your guns on that wall.
Look at that phone chilling the blaze.
It's under control now, Astro. Another few minutes and the fire will be out.
We're certainly lucky it didn't start in the back of the hangar, close to the reserve fuel.
We wouldn't be here if it had.
What I want to know is how that fire started. It couldn't be spontaneous combustion with all that automatic safety devices around.
I've been thinking the same thing. The only possible way a fire could break out here would be for somebody to deliberately set it. And then he'd have to disconnect the extinguishers.
Tom, that doesn't make sense. To sabotage the expedition, you'd set a fire on the other side of the field, where the ships are.
I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm sure this fire was no accident just the same.
Now hear this. All expedition ships secure. It is now 8 hours minus 3 minutes.
All secure, Mr. Sutton.
Oh, very good, Dunning. Now stand by for the blast-off signal.
Right, sir. We're in fine shape, except for those 2 space cadets aboard.
Oh, well, they won't get in our way.
I don't like it, sir. Why do they have to be on the New World?
Well, the names of all 5 ships were put in a space helmet. Ours was the one drawn out. It's as simple as that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Sutton. If Cadets Astro and Corbett delay us in any way at all, you've got a kick coming to the Interplanetary Council.
Don't worry. In 2 minutes, we blast off. Those other ships will stay behind us all the way.
Expedition ships stand by. It is now 8 hours minus 20 seconds.
Firing control set, Mr. Chatfield.
Now we are in the hands of fate.
With Lucky Leo aboard, you've got no worries.
I hope so. I have my heart set on that lakeside mineral claim.
It's yours.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's been a nice, quiet voyage so far, Tom.
I'll believe it. When we make contact with Captain Strong at Delport, Astro.
By the rings of Saturn, I'll be glad to see the Polaris again. I don't like these civilian tubs.
Oh, I don't know. This seems to be a sound enough ship. I wouldn't want to be aboard the Draco, though. That's a real beat-up crate.
I wonder how we're doing in the race.
Well, here comes Captain Dunning. He can tell us.
Well, boys, how's everything?
Fine, Captain. Any reports yet from the other ships?
We've had the Thespian on our radar screen for the past 6 hours. We can't be very far from her. I don't know about the other 4, but it's the Thespian I want to keep an eye on. She's our only real competition. Great galaxy. What was that?
An explosion. Sounded like the port side.
Well, what could have... There's the alarm. We're losing oxygen.
Let me get to that intercom. Hello. Damage control.
Dunning, Sutton. There's been an explosion in the port supply locker. There's a hole in the hull as big as a space site.
Close the compartment doors. Seal it off.
I can't. They're jammed. Something's wrong with the wiring. We're losing our oxygen supply fast.
Here's the locker, Astro.
Jumping Jupiter, look at the size of that hole.
Now, if there's only some emergency rubber slabs stored here.
There are, Tom. Right here.
Well, quick, give me a hand. We'll slap one over that hole.
Right. Grab hold.
The inside air pressure ought to hold the patch in place temporarily anyway.
There. That plugs the leak.
Astro, the explosive that caused this was planted here, and I think I know when.
What are you getting at?
That senseless fire on the spaceport last night. Don't you see it ties in with this? It was set to create a diversion so somebody can rig up this explosive.
Hey, I'm beginning to feel strange.
Yes, so am I. I wonder how much oxygen we have left.
Corbett.
Astro, what have you done here? Put an emergency patch on the leak, Captain. But we better get some men out on the hull with welding torches.
No good. We've lost too much oxygen already. We're 50% below absolute minimum.
50%?
No wonder it's getting hard to breathe.
Might as well face the truth. We're riding a death ship. Not one of us will reach Delport alive. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Space Academy to Power Deck Polaris.
Power Deck, Astro speaking. Just a moment, sir.
What's the delay?
I'm adjusting my space goggles. The heavy glare from this reaction gas is giving me trouble.
All right, Cadet Astro. When ready, you may proceed with the special cello recording.
There. That's better. Spaceman, now that I've put my space goggles on, the reaction mass doesn't bother me. You know, I don't know where I'll be when you hear this special recording, but you can be sure of one thing. I'll have my space goggles with me. They sure come in handy when I'm working with reaction mass here on the power deck. These official space goggles are made of a sweeping one-piece colored plastic, and they fit over both eyes. They'll give you eye protection from bright lights, sun glare, and heavy winds. So write down these instructions on how to get your pair of official space goggles. End transmission.
Spaceman, send one box top from Kellogg's Pep, 25 cents, and your name and address. One box top from Kellogg's Pep, 25 cents, and your name and address. Send to Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Send for your space goggles right away. And tomorrow morning, be sure to eat the Spaceman's Breakfast, Kellogg's Pep. That's well-tasting, build-up wheat cereal.
As the rocket ship New World streaks through outer space bound for the distant, newly discovered planet of Delport, an explosion suddenly tears a hole in her hull, through which the ship's precious supply of oxygen pours out. Tom and Astro succeed in hastily patching up the hole, but the air supply is dangerously low, too low to sustain an Earthling's life.
Tom, can't hold out much longer. I hardly breathe.
Pull yourself together, Astro. Help me.
What are you doing anyway?
Help me remove oxygen tanks from these spacesuits. Tanks ought to help us and crew keep alive a little while longer.
Okay, Tom.
Hey, what are you two doing with those spaceships? Let me explain. Get away from them.
But listen, we
need them ourselves. Put those tanks in the jet boat. Give me and Dunning enough oxygen to reach Delport. Abandon your crew? You can't.
Certainly can. Will, too. Stand clear.
I have all the crummy...
The audio.
Don't try anything, Corbett. I warn you.
Just want to answer that call.
Spaceship Thespian calling New World. Spaceship Thespian calling New World.
Chatfield. New World here. We read you, Thespian.
Corbett, we heard your operator's distress signal. We're making a sweep to stand by and lend assistance.
Something. Did you hear that? I don't believe it. Why should Chatfield ruin his own chances to help us? What's your position?
We've nearly completed our maneuver. We should be ready to set up a supply feed in 3 minutes. Can your crew hold out that long?
We'll hold.
Just stand by and we'll pump part of our oxygen into your ship. Enough oxygen to reach Delport anyway.
Chatfield, you realize what you're doing? This is sure to cost you the race.
Never mind that. There is a spaceman's code, you know. Stand by for company.
By Jupiter, that actor is a real spaceman, which is more than can be said of present company.
Like your jets. And if you know what's good for you, keep them packed.
We just lost our heads, that's all.
All right. But now you can open those tanks on the spacesuits. So your crew will be alive when Chatfield gets here. Okay. Get busy, Dunning.
By all the galaxies, Tom. We're going to make it to Delport.
That's right, Astro. We may come in last, but we'll come in alive.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett and the Space Cadets on Thursday, when the race is on for mineral wealth on the fabulous planet of Delport, in the second part of The Vultures of Space. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday, for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Al Markham, David Kerman, and Maurice Tarplin. Today's program was written by Gilbert Braun, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran, raisins and bran flakes too. They're out of this world, they're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Kellogg's raisins are honeycomb coated to keep them tender, the bran flakes crisper. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, raisins and bran flakes too. They're out of this world, they're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Escape. Brought to you by the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York and the independent marketers of Richfield gasolines, motor oils, and other petroleum products. Look for the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps.
Tonight, we escape to a small town on the California coast, behind whose scenes exists a world of terror, blackmail, and death. As H.V. Dixon tells it in his exciting new novel, Something for Nothing.
The moon wasn't up yet. It was after 9 and as dark as my pocket, and I was still 100 miles below San Francisco. The coast route is tricky driving, too. The road dips and curves like a squirming snake, smack up against the mountains on one side, and on the other, a sheer long drop to the sea. Thought I was driving north, and I had the inside lane, which wasn't so bad. And I kept bowling right along. And then about 3 miles below Bayside, I was going into a sharp curve to the right when beyond it, coming toward me, the lights of another car flared up, a big cream-colored sedan on the wrong side of the road bearing down on me. I slammed on my brakes and skidded sideways. The other car barely skimmed past, and I saw a woman hanging halfway out the door on the driver's side looking scared to death. She didn't even try to make the turn. Our car went straight for the lip of the cliff, and just as it went over, the woman jumped. And the car went smashing down the face of the cliff, easy, a 200-foot drop all the way to the ocean. Hey! Hey, are you all right? Oh, maybe she slid over. Hey there!
Oh.
What? Where are you?
Don't bother.
Oh, there you are.
I'm all right.
Here, hold on. Don't fall over the edge now.
I'm a little shaky.
There we go.
I didn't see your car not till the last second.
Look, lady, I didn't run you off the road. You were way over on my side.
Oh, I didn't mean it was your fault. My brakes failed. I was coming down the grade. I guess I lost my head.
Well, you could have made it all right without brakes. You weren't going very fast.
Oh.
I can't see your car down there.
It's probably underwater.
Might have landed on the rocks, huh?
No, I heard it splash.
Can I drive you anywhere? I wasn't going your way.
Oh, that's all right. I'll go back to Bayside. I was going to see some friends down the road, but I don't feel like seeing them now. You can drop me in town.
Fine. I'd be glad to.
Oh.
Whoa, you're pretty wobbly. Here, let me help you.
It was a shock, I guess.
Yeah, that was a close one. Wait a minute.
Hmm?
There wasn't anybody else in that car, was there?
No. No, I was alone.
You live in Bayside?
Yes.
I might stop off there tonight, overnight.
Well, you couldn't possibly find a room tonight. The tourist season started.
Well, I might find something in a motel.
Oh, I'm sure everything's full up, and it's easy driving beyond Bayside. No more mountains if you're going to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Do you live in San Francisco?
Oh, I did when I was a kid. Lately, I've been living in L.A. I've been working in pictures.
Oh.
For a while, I thought I'd be another Clark Gable or a Robert Taylor or something. Every agent in town was after me, but you know how it is. It didn't pan out.
Why not? You're handsome.
Oh, sure. Too handsome. I photographed too slick. I saw I'd never be anything but third rate, so I got out.
Yes, I suppose that's sensible.
Well, welcome Bayside city limits. Now, where do I take you?
Straight ahead.
Huh?
This is Surf Avenue. It'll take you through the main highway.
Well, where do you live?
Oh, you don't have to take me there. Stop here.
Well, why here?
I'm going to the police station to report the accident.
Well, don't you want me to go along and be a witness?
Oh, no, I'm sure that isn't necessary. Have a nice trip to San Francisco.
Thanks.
You are going right through, aren't you?
I guess so.
Well, you'll be there in 2 hours.
Yes, I know.
Yes, well, thanks again, and goodbye.
There was something funny about that dame. Something was worrying her besides that accident. The way she acted toward me, for instance. All she cared about was getting me out of town fast. So, naturally, I decided to stay a while to find out why. I found a room without any trouble at all, and then I walked around Bayside. I liked what I saw. The cars, the stores, the way the women were dressed. Yeah, Bayside was loaded with money. And then sometime after midnight, I dropped into a bar. One of the customers was yawking away to the bartender. I ordered scotch over ice and listened in.
She phoned the station about an hour ago and said Frank wasn't the type to go somewhere, not let her know.
That was the customer, a big moon-faced man with a red neck who had cop written all over him.
Didn't sooner or later bust loose. What do you know? Frank's going off on him there.
Well, I told her we'd check around.
Hey, she say Frank was driving that cream-colored job of his?
My heart jumped like a hooked trout.
He sure can't disappear far in that car.
It was hard to keep the excitement out of my voice. Pardon me, but what color car did you say?
Huh?
Well, I just drove in from L.A., and I passed a cream-colored sedan a few miles back.
You couldn't miss this one. Darndest color you ever saw.
Huh?
The ornament on the hood is a big pair of dice.
Well, the one I saw, a woman was driving.
No, Frank never lets anyone drive his car.
Well, Gassner doesn't know how to drive, does she?
Oh, sure she does, Chief. She just got a new convertible, only, she doesn't go out much.
She doesn't drink, doesn't wear makeup, doesn't do anything much, and she sure is a mousy woman. She went to bed tonight at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Tell me, who is this Gassner?
Well, he owns this bar, a couple of restaurants, and he owns a Domino Cottage. Mm-hmm. He calls it a dude ranch, but it's really a gambling house.
Oh, an important man, huh?
Yeah, he is. And he isn't. He's got money, but a gambler doesn't rate with the local snobs.
Oh, Bayside's one of those towns.
Cream de la cream, mister.
Some of the oldest families in California live here.
So money doesn't count.
Not without a pedigree, mister. It sure don't.
But money counts with me, especially easy money. To get something for nothing, that's the sweetest thing in life. Well, I finished my drink and went to the phone booth. First, I looked up Frank Gassner's address, 16 Yucca Drive, and I wrote it down. Then I put through a long-distance call to my pal Danny in San Francisco. He said he'd meet me in Bayside in a couple of days. When I left the phone booth, the redneck cop had left, and the bartender was getting ready to close up. I decided not to wait till morning to drop in at 16 Yucca Drive, so I paid the bartender and was halfway through the door when it jarred me having somebody know my name in that town that particular night. I turned around fast.
Gil Devon.
What?
Oh, what's your hurry, Gil? Don't you want to buy me a drink?
I don't know you from Adam, baby.
Well, I know you. I know your name, rank, and serial number.
Oh, I dropped that identification bracelet again, huh?
In the phone booth. I went in right after you. Here you are.
Thank you. The catch keeps coming open all the time.
You ought to have it fixed.
Yeah, I guess so. But every time I lose it, it gets back to me somehow.
Well, how about my reward?
Oh? Like what?
We could start with a drink.
Well, I'm sorry. I'd love to, but I've got a date.
That hardly comes as a surprise with shoulders like yours. Now, what does she have that I don't have?
Only one thing, sweetheart, and it's not beauty. But what she has, there's no substitute for. Hello, Mrs. Gassner. You forgot to lock the front door.
Why didn't you go to San Francisco?
Well, when I get a feeling I'm not wanted, that's when I stick around to find out why.
There was no reason for you to feel that way.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Is there anybody else in the house?
No, I sent the maid home for the night.
Oh, that's good. That's real good. I just heard a couple of chatty men in a bar talking about a husband who hadn't come home and a wife who'd gone to bed at 9 o'clock.
I don't see why you've come here to tell me that.
Stop stalling. The husband's name was Frank Gassner, and you're the wife. And at 9:30, you were out on the highway driving his car over the cliff. I saw it go over, remember?
If I give you $2,000, will you leave town?
You don't think I'd let a thing like this go for $2,000?
But I shouldn't pay you anything at all. I haven't done anything.
So you'll pay me $2,000 for nothing?
Well, these circumstances are peculiar.
Yeah, I'll say they are. Your husband was in that car. You murdered him.
Oh. Well, how much money do you want?
No, later. First, tell me about it. Everything. Well, come on, give. How did you kill him?
I heard him drive into the garage, but he didn't come into the house. I found him asleep in the car. He'd been drinking.
Passed out cold?
Yes, he often did that. I'd been waiting for a chance to kill him. So I started the car and closed all the windows and ran a hose from the exhaust pipe in close to his face. When I went out later, he was dead.
Oh, carbon monoxide.
I knew it might not look like an accident because he was too drunk to have closed the garage doors. So I drove down the highway and... Well, you know the rest.
You had it all figured out, didn't you? You'd wait for a truck driver, a woman in distress. He'd pick you up, drop you off near home. Truck drivers always stick to their schedule, so he'd keep right on going, fast, no time for questions. But instead of one of those knights of the road, I came along.
Yes, you came along. How much money do you want?
Oh, you can't pay me off. Not with cash.
I'll give you $10,000 and not a cent more.
You what? Don't tell me what you'll do or what you won't do. From now on, you'll do what I say.
But you can't prove anything.
Till I phone the police.
You saw the car go over the cliff, but you can't prove I was there. It's your word against mine.
And you think they'll take yours? Well, they might, seeing that I'm a stranger, except for one thing. You didn't have a purse when I picked you up on the road.
No. No, it's in the car. I forgot. It has my initials on it. Oh, please, I must get it back. Can you get it, please, please?
The car's probably underwater.
No, please.
Well, I'll rent a plane and fly down there and look. Probably have to use a boat to get to the car.
Try. As soon as you can. Tomorrow?
That's a little too soon.
No, please, before someone sees the car.
Just a minute, Mrs. Gassner. First, you and I have to come to a little understanding.
Oh, anything. I'll give you anything.
You mean everything, don't you, Belle?
What is xylene? A petroleum chemist will tell you that xylene is one of the highest octane components of gasoline known to science. But here's what's important to you. Xylene is contained in every gallon of Richfield gasoline. Let me repeat that. Xylene, one of the highest octane components known to petroleum science, is contained in every gallon of Richfield gasoline. Xylene helps give Richfield gasoline that full power wallop that jumps you out ahead in traffic. That smooth, surging power that eats up the miles and levels off the hills. Furthermore, there's a Richfield gasoline to fit the power requirements of your motor. Select Richfield Ethyl for best results in the highest compression motors, or Richfield High Octane at regular price for the average motor. Each Richfield brand is tops in its class. Don't waste gasoline. Don't waste money. Let the Richfield dealer help you select the right gasoline for your car. Remember, every gallon of Richfield gasoline contains xylene, one of the highest octane components known to petroleum science. And now we return you to Escape.
That was going to be a gold mine. For a start, Belle Gassner went to the bank next day and got me $10,000 cash. Then she made out a power of attorney for me. The next afternoon, I flew down the coast on a rented plane and spotted the car wedged into the rocks, right side up, under 20 feet of water. The next day, Belle and I went down in a cabin cruiser and dropped anchor as close to the rocks as we dared.
Let the anchor out all the way there.
Well, it's hit bottom.
All right, now take a hitch in the line.
Okay.
That's it. There's no drag now.
Oh, you can't even see the highway from here.
No, but if somebody sees us, they'll think we're fishing.
Well, how are you going to do it?
Well, I'll tie a rope around myself. You hold on to the rope so the surf doesn't bang me into those rocks.
All right.
Wait a minute. Maybe we should swim over to that big rock there and try from there.
But I can't swim.
No. Well, I'll swim over and pull you across.
Oh, no, I'm terribly afraid of water.
All right. I'll try from here then. But you hang on to that rope, you understand?
Yeah.
If anything happens to me, baby, then you're really in trouble. I fastened the rope around my waist, then I waited for a backwash of surf, took a deep breath, and dove. My dive carried me down to the top of the car, and I hooked my arm through the front window and held myself against the force of the current. And then I looked in. It was a world of greenish twilight, but I could see everything. Frank Gassner's body was floating against the ceiling of the car, his arms and legs waving in the current, his coat flapping as if it were in a breeze. I looked away from the body and tried to find the purse. I hung onto the steering wheel and finally saw it on the floor, held onto the weight of the flashlight. When I went after it, the body brushed against me in a kind of a caress. I grabbed the purse, shoved myself out of the car, and struggled to the surface and clambered aboard.
You've got it. Oh, thank heaven.
Of all the fool women, you would leave something like this in the car.
Well, I guess we should start back.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Now that you got my purse back, there's no way to prove I was in Frank's car. Doesn't that worry you?
Not a bit, baby.
I might refuse to go through with our deal. I might revoke that power of attorney.
No, you won't. I still hold some aces, Belle. That night I started playing those aces. Belle Gassner had never known a man like me, only a husband that she'd hated. All I had to do was make one move, and she fell as hard as any of the rest of them. And having her crazy about me was the best way to keep her in line, better than any threats. I didn't have to worry about Belle Gassner. Not anymore. And now I had the world by the tail on a downhill pull. When I got back to the Bayview Lodge later that night, Danny was waiting for me.
So? What's the pitch, Gil?
Ever hear of a character named Frank Gassner?
Yeah, sure. Had a place in Reno once. Last I heard, he had a gambling joint here. Why, you working for him?
No, his wife.
Huh?
Gassner's missing. He took a powder, met with an accident nobody knows yet. So she's appointed me manager of the whole works with power of attorney. I want you to front for me, Danny.
Why do you want to front?
Well, I don't want to be known as a gambler. This is my big chance to live first class. I want everything that goes with it. Maybe I'll even join the racket club. Go social.
Yeah, you always did have big ideas, Gil. How long is this going to last?
Long enough.
Well, suppose this Gassner shows up someday.
He won't. Now, wait a minute, Danny. My hands are clean. I didn't do him, and I know what happened to him, but I'm the only one who knows.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, Gil. Okay, I'll play along.
A week later, Belle introduced me around, and I took over. Danny did most of my work, and I began living high. I even bought a brand new plane, a beautiful low-wing 4-place job. And I took Belle up the first day. You know, flying's the only time I'm really myself, Belle. There's nothing like it.
I know a little about it.
Oh, you do?
I took lessons for a while. Frank was going to buy a plane.
Well, how many hours do you have?
Oh, almost 20.
Oh, then you're solo, huh?
I wasn't very good. Just never could get the hang of it.
Well, come on, try it. Take over.
No.
Oh, come on.
You think I can?
Why, sure, it's a cinch.
Well.
There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, that's very good. Now, try a turn to the left. Huh? Oh, no, not too steep. There we go. You got the feel of it?
Oh, it's fine. It's wonderful.
Yeah, sure it is. You must have had a bad instructor. But now, baby, you've got me. The money began rolling in. I bought a bachelor house on the beach. I joined a racket club. It seemed like there was no end to the good things I'd heard about and never known. Yet, slowly, little by little, a sour note crept in. Belle began to get on my nerves. She was so possessive, I began to hate the sight of her. One night at the racket club, she was dancing with someone, and I was having a drink at the bar.
Hello there, Gil Devon.
What? Well, hello.
I just knew those shoulders went with that handsome face. Are you tied up tonight, or can you buy me that drink?
Sure I can. Tell me, why haven't I seen you around since the first time?
I've been to Europe since then. I'll be here for a few weeks, though. Then I'm going to New York for the winter.
Oh, I thought this was your home.
It's one of them. Daddy's got 4 houses scattered around the country.
Oh.
Look, never mind the drink. Let's go outside.
Sure. You've got an edge on me. I don't know your name.
Allison Price.
You know something? You're something I've always imagined would happen to me.
Really? You didn't seem to think so that first night.
No, well, I had something else on my mind, something that had to come first so that you could happen.
And, what was that?
Money. A girl like you can only come along when the man's got money to burn. And on the way home that night, I was in real trouble.
Where were you? I saw you leave with Allison Price.
I told you, Belle, we were outside talking.
I warn you, Gil. If you ever think of leaving me, I'll go to the police and tell them we both killed Frank, and I mean it, Gil.
Oh, calm down, Belle. I'm not interested in that Price girl.
Are you sure?
Oh, sure. As soon as you're legally a widow, we'll get married. That's a promise, Belle. I felt like a steel trap had closed on me. Yeah, Belle was dangerous. She had to be handled right. I planned everything down to the last detail and then waited until one night pretty late. Yeah,
Gil, they found him.
What are you talking about? Found who?
Gassner. Gassner's body's been found. The car's down the road a ways at the bottom of a cliff. Somebody spotted it from the air.
It must have been an accident.
Yeah. Look, should I call Mrs. Gassner? Chief Arnold's not going to tell her till he's poked around.
No, Danny. I'll call her. Thanks for letting me know. Hello, Belle.
I'm so glad you called, darling. I was just going to bed.
Well, you're not going to bed now. You're going to leave town.
Why, Gil?
I can't tell you why over the telephone. I'll pick you up in 10 minutes.
All right, darling.
No. Wait a minute. You better take your car. Pack a bag and drive out to the airport. Don't let anyone see you. I'll meet you there. They found Frank last night. Danny called.
Oh, is that all? Well, what a relief. I couldn't imagine
Wait a
why
minute,
you'd...
Belle. Danny says that Arnold's already figured out from the wreckage that Gassner wasn't driving the car.
That doesn't mean they'll suspect me.
And the autopsy shows that he was dead a long time before the car went over the cliff. They know it was carbon monoxide.
No.
And somebody on your street saw you walking home that night.
Then Chief Arnold knows I was lying. Oh, what'll I do?
That's why I asked you to meet me out here. You can take my plane.
But I'm no pilot, Gil.
You can do it, dear. You can fly up the coast past Frisco, across the state line to Medford, Oregon.
What shall I do there?
Stay there. You'll be out of the state. Then when I straighten things out, you can come back.
But I can't do...
It's the only thing to do, Belle. Now, trust me, darling. It was barely dawn, and there wasn't a soul around. Belle stayed in her car while I got the plane ready. I rolled it out of the hangar and parked it just over a water drain, and then I opened the valves to the gasoline tanks and let almost all of it drain out, so she'd have only enough fuel for 15 minutes of flight. I rolled the plane out on the runway and got it warmed up, and then Belle ran across, and I helped her climb in. Now, just follow this course I marked there.
Yes?
Stay over the ocean at least an hour.
Why, Gil?
Well, I don't want you spotted. It's safer that way. This engine runs like a wristwatch.
All right, darling.
Oh, you're okay, honey. Don't worry about it. Now, depend on me. Now, don't start crying, dear. You have to get out of here.
Gil?
Goodbye, darling. She took off to the west and then flew northwest over the ocean. What a trusting fool she was. When I looked at my wristwatch driving back to town, it was 18 minutes since the plane took off. By then, it was down somewhere in the ocean out of gas. It would sink at once, and Belle couldn't swim. Well, it wasn't such a terrible way to die. And Chief Arnold would figure it this way. Belle had heard that Frank's body was found. She lost her head and ran because she had murdered him. Case closed. It was a nice day. Nice day to take Allison swimming. Or for a drive up the beach. When I got to town, nothing was open yet except the drugstore, so I stopped and bought a paper. Folded it under my arm and started back to my car. And then I spotted Chief Arnold coming toward me, grinning like an ape. I wondered what was on the old fathead's mind.
Hey, Mr. Devon.
What?
Oh, there.
Well, hello, Chief. You look happy about something.
Gil Devon. I arrest you for the murder of Frank Gassner.
What? Are you nuts? What gives you the idea that I had anything...
Ever seen this before, Devon?
Sure. That's my Army identification bracelet. I haven't seen it for weeks. I'm always losing it.
And it's handy for us cops that you do. This time you lost it in Frank Gassner's car. Oh, say, isn't that Allison Price? Well, I'll be darned. She's got under your skin, too.
Shut up. Shut up, you flat-foot.
Here. Come here. I want to talk to you.
Oh, beautiful girl. And so near.
So near.
And yet so far.
Say, here's a real spring tonic for baseball fans. A new 32-page baseball book just off the press. Packed full of tips and information on America's favorite sport. Where can you get it? At the Richfield Gasoline Dealer Station. And this new Richfield baseball book is absolutely free. It contains Major League and many minor league schedules, World Series box scores, and Major League standings, baseball questions and answers, seating diagrams of 16 baseball stadiums. This new, colorful Richfield baseball book is a goldmine of baseball lore you won't want to miss. A storehouse of fascinating information that fits right in your pocket. And remember, it's absolutely free. Ask your Richfield gasoline dealer for your copy tomorrow. And while you're about it, ask him about Richfield All-Point Safety Service, the complete scientific lubrication service and safety checkup that prepares your car for the warm weather ahead. Stop where you see the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson and has tonight presented Something for Nothing by H.V. Dixon, adapted for radio by Sylvia Richards. Featured in the cast were Bill Conrad as Gil, Ann Morrison as Belle, Frances Cheney as Allison, Will Gear as Arnold, Rick Vallon as the bartender, and Paul Frees as Danny. Special music was arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Next week.
You are being whirled through the streets of New Orleans by the gay revelers of Mardi Gras. But somewhere in the crowd, dressed as a clown, is a murderer. Your murderer, from whom there is no escape.
Next week at this time, the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York invites you to escape with the story of a man caught up in the night of terror through his complete innocence, as John and Gwen Bagney tell it in their exciting story, The Man Who Stole the Bible. Be listening. Goodbye, then, until this same time next week when once again we offer you Escape. I'm Hamlin speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Wilson presents Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are stranded on the Martian desert, 100 miles from the nearest city. They've just come to an expanse of tiny green plants, carpeting the desert for miles.
Something's wrong with my throat, Commander. It feels tight. It's hard to breathe.
Mine's the same way, Happy.
It couldn't be the dust coming up from the ground,
No, it comes from the plants. Every time we take a step, the plants shoot out spores, poisoning the atmosphere.
It's getting worse, Commander.
What's still worse, these are poisonous lichens.
Poison? What are we going to do, sir? We can't go back.
Well, if we go on, these plant spores will paralyze our breathing muscles. We'll suffocate.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Electronic Buglar.
Say, you want to have some fun, gang? Well, listen to this jet cycle. There's nothing in the tank but ordinary fuel, and here's the result. Just a putt-putt. That's all it is with ordinary fuel, but pour in some super fuel. Wow, that jet cycle is supercharged now. Yes, sir, gang, when it comes to supercharging, you need super fuel. And the same thing is true of you, especially in the morning when you haven't had a bite to eat for hours. So to really get up ahead of steam, to really get set for a lightning takeoff, you have to get supercharged. And here's Buzz Corey's way of doing it. He eats a good breakfast with rice checks or wheat checks, the super cereals that help to supercharge you. Bite-sized checks. Checks, the cereals that taste so good. Checks, the cereals that are so crisp, so absolutely different. So take a tip from Buzz Corey. Eat a good breakfast with a super cereal and get supercharged. The super cereals, rice checks, wheat checks. Even on the man-made planet Terra itself, few citizens are aware of the existence of the Marist Design and Development Company. Yet, from Mercury to Pluto, there's hardly a man, woman, or child whose life isn't made more secure and pleasant because of the engineering know-how in the creation of electronic devices by the Marist Company. And so, when Howard Marist reported that his Terra offices had been burglarized, Commander Corey assumed personal charge of the investigation. Right now, Buzz and Happy are standing before the damaged door of the Marist Company vault, questioning the perplexed and worried executive, Howard Marist.
I can't understand why the alarm system didn't work. I set it myself last night, just as I always do.
How do you set it?
There's a lock switch in my private office. Once that switch is set,
Nobody can force an entrance to the building without setting off the alarm.
Well, what if somebody had the key to the outside doors?
If they used it before regular opening time, even a key would set off the alarm.
The only sign of force, inside or out, is at the vault door. Mr. Maris, are you positive you set the alarm switch last night?
Absolutely. And the alarm did work, you know.
Yes, but several hours too late. By the time our men got here, the metal on the Endurium door had cooled where the atomo torch had melted it.
It's the most baffling thing I've ever run into, Commander.
Mm-hmm. One fact is pretty clear, Mr. Maris.
Yes, what's that?
Whoever did this job was extremely familiar with your operations.
Are you suggesting it was an inside job?
It almost had to be. Just look at what was taken.
Yes, the analscope plans. The most valuable thing in the vault.
Well, excuse me, sir, but what is this analscope?
It's a device for detecting mineral deposits hundreds of feet underground.
It's 10 times more efficient than any other instrument or method we have.
Those plans in the hands of someone who knows their value are worth at least 1 million space credits.
Wow.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, Maris here. Oh, very well. Commander, I'm wanted in my office. Would you excuse me, please?
Really, Mr. Maris, go ahead.
Thank you.
Well, Commander, if it was an inside job, why did the thief have to use an atomo torch on the vault? He got into the building without setting off the alarm.
The alarm didn't go off until the thief was safely away. If I didn't know Maris so well, I'd suspect him of being involved in the robbery.
Well, how about his chief engineer, Cheller?
Oh, they've both agreed to a brainograph test. I think they'll pass it. They've worked with Robbie and me on top-secret projects a number of times. Maris and Cheller are exceptionally honest.
Well, the security department men have gone over everything and haven't found a single clue. What's the next step?
The brainograph.
Excuse me, sir, but have a look at this.
What?
On the floor of the vault here, it looks like broken glass.
It is. Somebody dropped his glasses. Gather it up carefully, Happy.
Yes, sir. Well, there's hardly anything left but slivers.
Don't cut yourself, but get all of it.
Hey, Maris doesn't wear glasses.
Neither does Cheller. Happy, don't mention this to anyone. We'll have a check made on Maris employees to see who does wear glasses. I hope there are enough large pieces there to tell what the optical formula is.
I've got it, sir. The pieces are in this piece of paper.
All right, Hap. We'll turn it over to the lab.
Goodbye, Stokes. So long, Maris, and thanks. Don't make that any time. Now, Commander, you mentioned a brainograph test whenever you're ready.
Fine, Mr. Maris. By the way, the man who just left, he looks familiar.
Oh, that was Ward Stokes. He's a precision machinist. Does special assignments for me from time to time.
Oh, sure. I remember him now. About a year ago, Major Robertson had him work on a special view scope for the security lab.
Oh, that's so? I had him in mind for the analscope job.
Did you discuss it with him?
Oh, no. No, I wouldn't do that until I'd checked with security. That's our standard policy on really important jobs. Stokes just dropped in, pick up an instrument case he left in my office.
I see.
Your man, Captain Scoville, talked to him.
Captain Scoville and his men will remain on duty here for a day or two, Mr. Maris, checking the alarm system.
Yes, Commander, I understand.
They won't interfere with your regular operations any more than they have to. Now, if you'll get Cheller, Happy and I will take you to headquarters for the brainograph test.
Oh, Stokes, you got the case all right.
Yes, walked right into Maris' office. One of Corey's men gave me the once-over, but didn't even stop me.
Has the case been tampered with?
No, it was on the floor exactly where I left it yesterday. After all, it looks just like what it's supposed to be, an instrument case.
Yes. Not even Boss Corey would suspect this small box of being an electronic burglar.
And now that we've got it back here, no one will ever suspect. Oh, I see you found your spare glasses.
Yeah. You know, I worn glasses for 30 years, and I never broke a pair till last night.
And you never cracked a safe till last night either. Oh, did you?
Well, if I did, I wouldn't have been so awkward when I removed the protective goggles.
No. Well, it was a small price to pay for what we've got.
Yes. That reminds me, you better put that robot burglar away and help me copy the analscope design.
Where do you want me to put the burglar?
In the staging room for now.
All right. This stage set's a great piece of work, even if I do say so myself. Startling duplicate of Maris' private office.
Well, it would have to be, wouldn't it? Otherwise, we couldn't have trained our mechanical helper to find the alarm switch in the real office.
You know, I've made dozens of machines operated by electric eye. But until you came along, it never occurred to me to,
Yes, to make a machine that works for you instead of somebody else.
Yes, Bartram, I guess that's it. The toughest part of the whole job was getting a hold of Maris' burglar alarm key long enough to make a duplicate.
Maris doesn't suspect us. Corey doesn't suspect us. I'd say we pulled it off without a hitch. But now we better get ready to blast off from Mars.
Happy, I suppose you heard the results of the brainograph test.
Yes, sir. Maris and Scheller didn't have anything to do with the robbery.
Not only that, but they haven't the remotest idea who might have done it.
That's great, except that it doesn't help us much. Oh, how about the fragments of glasses?
Well, the lab couldn't tell a thing. The boys did their best, but the pieces aren't big enough to indicate the optical formula.
Oh, well. Maybe it wasn't a thief that dropped it there anyway.
Maybe not. Maris says that he and Scheller are the only ones that go into the vault. We would get this clue just when our chief optical expert is in the hospital.
Dr. Pricer?
Yes. I contacted Pricer and showed him the fragments on the telescreen. He thinks he could determine the lens formula after he's out of the hospital.
When will that be?
In 10 days. You know, I think I'll take his suggestion. Pricer says this man Stokes might be able to help us.
Stokes? Oh, the fellow Maris was talking about?
Yes. Stokes helped Pricer on some high-precision optical work a while back. Pricer thinks he's great.
He could well be, with both Maris and Pricer raving about him.
Now, let's pay him a visit, Happy, and see if he can put our glass jigsaw puzzle together. Mr. Stokes, I imagine you're a pretty busy man, but at the moment, you're the only one who can help us.
I'm rather rushed, Commander, but if it's for the Space Patrol, I'll be glad to if I can.
I have some fragments of what apparently was once a pair of glasses. Can you determine the optical formula from these small pieces?
Why, it would be rather difficult. May I ask why you want this information?
By tracing the prescription, we might be able to check with various opticians and find a thief.
A thief?
Yes. Confidentially, I'll tell you that these fragments were found in Maris's vault after the burglary. You know about that, of course.
Yes, perfectly outrageous. And this is the only clue you have?
So far.
Oh. Well, I'm afraid I couldn't give you a very accurate analysis, Commander.
I see. Well, perhaps Dr. Pricer can do it when he gets out of the hospital.
However, let me examine these fragments more closely. Will you let me take them into my lab in the next room?
Of course.
It won't take me long to find out if further tests will be worthwhile.
He didn't seem very interested at first, Commander.
It's a challenge to his ingenuity. He'll probably help us.
All these pictures of gadgets on the walls. Are these Stokes' inventions?
I suppose so.
Hey, come and look at this one, sir. The picture here by the door.
All right.
It's a miniature view scope, no bigger than your hand.
An amazing piece of construction.
Well, I'd like to see the actual thing. Hey, I wonder what's in this room here.
Happy.
Oh, well, I wasn't snooping, sir. I just thought... Hey, look at this.
What is it?
For a minute, I thought I'd been here before. But this is an exact duplicate of Maris's private office.
It does look like it. Same furniture arrangement, same size, same fixtures.
Yeah, maybe the same person designed the offices, and Maris's is just like Stokes.
No, I don't think so, Happy.
What do you mean, sir?
These walls don't reach the ceiling. This is a room built inside a larger room, like a stage set.
You're right. It seems kind of silly.
It certainly does. And then...
Hey, what's that, Commander?
Machinery of some kind, but I don't see... Oh, it's that instrument case. The lid's opening.
Look at it, Commander. Now the whole case is moving, rolling across the floor.
I wonder what could have started that thing up.
Now look, it's running a long rod up in the air.
Yeah, very ingenious. A telescoping rod in sections with a key on the end of it.
Sure like to have one of those things. Hey, looks like it's on its way to unlock something.
Mm-hmm. To unlock a mystery. Watch it closely, Happy.
What am I going to tell him, Vulture? Well, tell him you can probably figure out the optical prescription. Then, in a day or two, give him a fake formula. Good. Then Corey will never be able to trace you. Go tell him and get him out of here. Yes. Commander, I've got good news for you. Commander, where are you?
In here, Stokes.
Oh.
Happy and I are watching this fantastic gadget of yours.
How does that thing get started? Here, I'll shut it off.
No, wait. Let's see what it does.
It's just a silly toy. I'll turn it off.
Later, Stokes.
But Commander.
Hey, it acts like it's looking for something. Now it's heading right for that little doogie there on the wall there.
The lock switch.
It's feeling for the keyhole.
A very clever machine, Stokes. So that's how the alarm system was shut off.
What do you mean?
You can't deny this room is an exact replica of Maris's office.
Suppose it is. Lots of offices are alike.
I see. Then, of course, you won't mind taking a brainograph test.
That'll be enough snooping, Corey. Get your hands out. You too, Cadet. Get their weapons, Stokes.
Yes, Vulture.
Keep behind them in case I have to use this ray gun.
So you're Stokes' partner in the burglary. Vulture, huh?
Hold them, Stokes. Confound it, men. You should have locked the door.
How did I know they'd be coming here?
And that robot. How did it get started?
The timing mechanism. I forgot to shut it off.
So just 12 hours after the robbery, it started up again.
Yeah. In another 3 hours, the robot would turn the lock switch back on, move back to its original position, withdraw its wheels and levers, and become an innocent instrument case again.
Too bad Stokes has such a good reputation as a precision machinist, or we'd never have come here.
It is too bad, Corey. But I'm afraid it's too bad for you.
What are we going to do with them?
We can't dispose of them here on Terra. We'll take them to my lab on the Martian desert, where they'll never be found.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a moment.
Say, gang, listen to this boy going to the breakfast table. He doesn't care if he ever gets there, does he? He doesn't like his breakfast cereal, that's why. No zip, no lift, no flavor. Now, here's a girl. Listen to how she goes to breakfast. She doesn't even bother about going. Same trouble. A cereal dull as can be. No taste, no tang, no nothing. Now, here's another youngster going to breakfast. No wonder he's in a hurry. He's really going for breakfast, because this fella does what Buzz Corey does. He has a checkerboard super cereal for breakfast every single morning. Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. The cereals with that modern bite-sized design for easy eating. And boy, it's not just the size that makes Chex easy to eat. It's that flavor. Man, oh man, Chex have a flavor that keeps that spoon of yours going up and down, up and down, up and down until the cereal bowl's empty. So get the cereals that have you sprinting to the table for them. The super cereals that help to supercharge you. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. Bart and Happy have been captured by two criminals who stole designs for a valuable new mineral detection device from the Maris Design and Development Company vault. The thieves, Stoke and Boucher, have locked the space patrolman in a compartment on a spaceship and are heading for a hideout on the Martian desert.
Certainly aren't taking any chances, sir. My wrists are tied so tight, my fingers are numb.
If we can work loose before the ship lands, we might be able to fight our way out of this mess, Happy. Keep at it.
Yes, sir.
They cut the rockets. Still that increased gravity pull?
Yes, sir.
If they're carrying out their original plans, it means we're landing on Mars. We've got to work fast before they can land.
Unload the compartment, Stokes. I'll keep them covered.
All right.
Now, you two on your feet. Let's check these ropes. Turn around. I said turn around. And I say something, I mean it, Corey.
I'll remember that, Vulture.
With the little time you got left, I suggest you dwell on more pleasant memories. Okay. The ropes are still tight. Get moving, you two. This is our little Martian hideout.
Sure is a filthy little hideout.
Well, maybe we'll let you clean it up before we do away with you.
Let's get some heat on. I'm freezing.
Stokes, you're going right back to the ship and blast off for Lowell City.
You still think I should make contact with Bart?
Yes. I'll stay here and guard Corey and the cadet until everything is set. Leave the designs here.
I'll put them in the cupboard.
All right. If you find everything safe in Lowell City, then make arrangements for getting the money from Tark, and we'll hand over the design.
When do we get rid of Corey and the cadet?
Just as soon as you get back. Nobody will ever find them out here in the desert. You better get going.
Oh, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. Come out to the ship with me.
Well, all right. I don't imagine you'll want to leave, Corey. But we'll lock the door, just in case.
Well, sir, we've got until Stokes gets back to get out of here.
Even if we overpower Boucher, we'll need Stokes' ship to escape. Do you see a space phone in here?
No, sir. But maybe there's one hidden around someplace.
Happy, there's a heating control. Kick the switch with your foot.
You cold, sir?
No, but put it on full, quickly.
Yes, sir. There it is, sir.
Good. Now, if this room will just heat up in a hurry.
Well, there goes Stokes.
Now, when Boucher comes into this heated room, I have a hunch he'll have some trouble with his glasses.
Huh?
Coming in from the cold air, they'll fog up just like the windows.
Hey, yeah, then we can rush him.
The best we can hope to do is knock him down with a headlong dive until we can get our hands free. Here he comes. Get ready.
Yes, sir.
All right. gentlemen. Now we'll just relax. Oh, you got the heat on. I told you space patrolmen wear hardy souls accustomed to cold. Confound it. My glasses are...
Okay, Happy?
Get off of me.
He dropped his gun, Commander. Take it out of the way. That's it.
Can you handle Boucher with your hands tied, sir?
I won't have to. They're loose, Happy. All right, Boucher.
Let go of me.
And stop struggling. On your feet. I'll take the gun, Happy. Boucher, untie the cadet.
Wait till I get my breath. You knocked all the wind out of me.
It's all right, sir. The ropes are working loose.
Good. Boucher, is there a spaceophone in this building?
No, there was a portable set on the ship, but I forgot to bring it in.
You just have to wait till Stokes returns. You get a nice surprise when he walks in that door.
Should we tie Boucher up, sir?
That might be a good idea. We won't have to watch him so closely. Boucher, get away from that cupboard.
I'll get him, Commander.
They're not there. They're gone.
What are you talking about?
The anoscope design. Stoke never put them in a cupboard.
I saw him walk over there.
He double-crossed me. The dirty rat.
What good would they do you if they were there?
Don't you see? Stoke isn't coming back, and we're stuck here.
He's right, Happy. This puts all of us in a tough spot. Boucher, how far did you say it was to the nearest city?
100 miles. 100 miles of desert.
We don't have any way to call for help.
We'll die out here. We only got food for 2 days.
Maybe. But we're not going to stay here. Let's take what food and water we can and start across the desert.
On foot? We could never make it.
We're going to try it. Now, where's the food locker? Come on, Boucher. You're lagging behind.
Don't make me walk anymore, please.
You got yourself into this mess. You're going to keep moving.
All right. I'll try to make it.
That's it. Now stop blubbering and save your breath.
Hey, these green plants are all around us.
They're lichens, Happy. In the Martian summer, they turn rust-colored.
Stop. Wait.
Now what?
I feel sick. Something's wrong with my throat.
Well, I don't feel so good myself, but we've got to keep moving.
Hold on a minute. There's something strange in the air.
It's dust coming up from the ground, sir. Every time we step, a little puff of dust spurts up.
From the lichens, Happy. They're spores.
Spores?
Yes, tiny cells from these plants. This kind is poison.
What?
Getting into our throats, lungs.
Let's get out of them quick.
But we've got to keep on going.
The plants stretch for miles in all directions except behind us.
Then let's go back.
We can't go back. Commander, these spores, what do they do?
If we keep inhaling them, they'll paralyze our breathing muscles. We'll suffocate.
I'm going back.
Boucher, come back here. Grab him, Happy.
Boucher, keep your head. All this stomping around's making it worse.
Stand still, Boucher. Be quiet. Look around, examine the terrain. Maybe we can find a bare stretch of ground.
It's hopeless. We're trapped. Trapped on the desert.
I said be quiet. See anything, Happy?
No, sir. Except up that low hill there seems to be a tower of some kind.
Yes, a power relay tower. There's one every 20 miles.
Maybe there's a spaceophone at the tower. If we can get there, we could call for help.
That's worth a try. Come on, let's go.
Come on, Boucher. Just a few yards more.
I can hardly breathe.
I don't see anything that looks like a spaceophone, Happy.
Neither do I, sir. Just some wheels and gears.
Those are to adjust the receiving and deflecting coils at the top of the tower.
You mean we can't call for help after coming all this way?
I'm afraid not.
Then what good is this monstrosity? We'll all die here under the tower.
Look, Boucher, lie down and rest a minute and keep quiet.
Sir, by looking at the coils, can't we tell the direction to take to Lowell City?
Yes, but it's straight across those poison lichens. Now, wait a minute. If we were to turn those wheels, it would interrupt the power beam. The beam would miss the next relay tower.
Hey, yeah, they'd have to send somebody out to investigate.
Well, then do it. Turn the wheels. Cut out the power.
Boucher, do you realize that human lives may depend on that power beam?
Well, what about our lives? Our lives depend on it, too. Turn it off.
What we might do, Happy,
is
might deflect it slightly, just enough to register on the instruments at the monitor station.
Well, how could we be sure we weren't turning it too far?
See that dial? It points to 0. That means it's right on the beam. The red lines on either side are the danger limits. Here, let's release the holding mechanism. Now we'll turn the wheel carefully.
The indicator's still on 0, sir.
The control mechanism has a high gear ratio for accurate focusing of the beam.
Now it's moving, sir. Halfway to the danger line.
That ought to alert the maintenance crew. Now we'll spin the wheel the other way, back and forth.
Want me to take over again, sir? You must be tired.
All right, Happy. Thanks.
You've been doing that for half an hour and nothing happened. Turn the beam off. Clear off. That's the only way to make them pay attention. It'll be dark in a little while. Nobody will be able to see us.
Commander, look. It's an atmosphere ship.
And it's headed right for the tower.
Well, wave to them. Make sure he sees us.
He'll see us, don't worry. It's a power commission ship, all right, sir. See the big red circle on the hull?
All right, Happy. He's coming in for a landing. Set the indicator back to 0.
There it is, sir. I'll lock it in place. Control secured, sir.
All right, let's get to the ship. We've got an appointment with Stokes in Lowell City.
I told you and the commander how you can pick up Stokes and the man who's going to buy the design. They will go on my record one day.
Oh, sure, but I'm afraid it's a little late now to start thinking about getting off easily.
Happy, I just talked to Lowell City Space Control and the pilot's space reform. They're putting a guard around Stokes' ship in case he tries to blast off.
Fine. When do we get to Lowell City?
In a couple of minutes. We'll turn Vulture over to the spaceport guards and go after Stokes in style. Well, Stokes, the design seemed to be complete.
That all there, Mr. Tharp? Now I'd like my money.
Of course. I'm glad you and Boucher changed your minds and made a straightforward business deal.
The original plan was just a precaution in case we were being followed. But everything worked out so well.
All right, Stokes. I'll take those plans.
Boy. Get Tharp, Happy. I'll handle Stokes.
Yes, sir. Where do you think you're going?
All right, Stokes. Had enough?
Oh, yes, Corey. Let up.
I've got Tharp, Commander.
Keep him covered. I'll get the anoscope design.
Yes, sir. All right, Stokes. Move over next to your partner.
Just tell me one thing. How did you get out of the desert?
Well, Commander, why don't we let Boucher explain that to him? It'll give them something to talk about for the next several years they're going to be spending together.
We'll be back with an action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story in just a moment. Say, you want to hear something funny? Well, listen to this. That's a word scrambler, gang. A machine that scrambles secret messages sent by space patrollers over the spaceophone. Now, do you want to know what the message said? Well, here, I'll have it unscrambled for you. To get supercharged, eat a good breakfast with Instant Ralston. That's one of the most important messages a space patroller ever sent. Yes, sir, when you sit down to a good breakfast with good hot Ralston, well, boy, oh, boy, that's your day to shine. For Instant Ralston packs a wallop in every spoonful. It's rich whole wheat. Remember, rich whole wheat. That means it'll warm up your motor, tune up your thinker, help start off your day with a bang. Yes, that's the kind of start Buzz Corey gets. That's the kind of start you need to be a winner just like him. So come on, Space Patrollers, get supercharged. Eat a good breakfast with good hot Ralston. And now for a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story. Buzz and Happy are on Venus on a farm where food is chemically grown in large tanks. As they walk toward a building where Tonga is held captive, huge sun mirrors atop several tall towers turn ominously toward them.
Oh, the rocket, Commander, is really getting hot all of a sudden.
Yes, waves of heat. Even for Venus, this is unusual.
Oh, my eyes. What a glare.
Happy, don't look at those reflectors. They'll blind you.
Let's run for the building and get out of this sun.
Pat, look out. They're focusing those sun mirrors on us.
A whole battery of them are pointed right toward us.
Maybe we can dodge them. Run back this way.
Commander, they've got us surrounded by those heat beams, and they're closing in.
They hit us with all those at once. We're finished for good.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Space Shark, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! And now here's a message from Commander Buzz Corey.
Here's a little riddle. What is it that is scarce, valuable, and necessary, yet given away free? The answer is blood, the gift of life. Yes, when grown-ups give blood at the Red Cross Center, they don't receive money, but they do receive the wonderful, deep-felt satisfaction of knowing they helped save a life. Now, how would you like to help me get more people to save lives? Join my Space Patrol Blood Boosters. It's lots of fun, so how about it? Join today.
Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Bela Kovac, Ken Mayer, and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufel speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Wheat Checks, Rice Checks, and Good Hot Ralston again present the new, exciting Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.